Welcome to the live stream, guys. We've got an exciting show for you tonight in which we are going to give away, sponsored by Western Digital, 4 WD Mynet N900 routers, but the ones that we're going to be giving away are actually going to be signed by Team Dignitas, which I have been informed is a League of Legends team, but I'm more on the hardware side, guys, so I can tell you all about how this router is going to enhance your League of Legends experience. But Slick can be the one to cover what a League of Legends is.
What a League of Legends?
No, I'm just kidding. I know it's not a League of Legends. So stay tuned, guys. We are going to get into that, but we don't want to do it right at the beginning of the show because not everyone is tuned in right at the very beginning. I also want to make sure that we're not running that in the background. Want to make sure that we're changing the name of the stream. I see Slick keeps changing to the new Twitch channel design, but that makes it so I don't actually know how to change our stream title. So that's a bit of an issue there.
It looks better though if you're not viewing in the new stream layout after Linus Tech in the URL type /new. It looks quite a bit better. The viewing area is larger actually. So yeah.
So you can see our faces in all of their even more HD glory,
which is not usually a good thing.
Live tech chat, join us now. Update, there we go. So, you know what? I'm going to do something that I haven't actually done in a while, or ever, and I'm going to give you guys an outline of the stuff that we are... Wait, hold on. Turn the volume up, it's quiet. Seriously?
You didn't apply extra voltage to the mic.
Oh, we have to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
Alright, awesome. So... I'm going to actually tell you guys what we're going to cover on the live stream tonight, which has been difficult in the past because we've kind of wung it a lot with the Twitter chat and all that kind of good stuff. And of course, my favorite thing about this notebook is that the power button is right here on the side, and it's more like a phone tablet style power button. So when you touch it, it's just like, dip, and then laptop goes to sleep, which is of course very helpful when I'm trying to tell you guys what we're going to talk about. So. We've got, we're going to have a little bit of chat about my Android experience so far. So if you guys have been following me on Linus Tech Tips on YouTube, which presumably most of you are, otherwise I have no idea how you found this live stream. But I'm going to be talking about my recent switch from iOS to Android, some of the experiences I've been having, some of the things that have been really cool. I'm going to let him gloat a little bit because he
said he'd never ever do it. Multiple times. He's like, I'm never going to
Android. Okay, the gloating comes later. The gloating comes later.
I like gloating.
The gloating, I'm scheduling the gloating
But
now.
You have to spread it out to enjoy it fully. Like crappy food versus really good food. With really good food, you take your time and you enjoy it.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the Tech Quickie channel, which is a secondary channel, not the Linus Tech Tips channel, where we're going to have videos that are more like sponsored videos. So people are... Turn your speakers up. Yeah. I don't know what to do for these people because our mic is on maximum, so it really actually can't be that quiet.
It's at max with applied voltage, so this is probably the loudest it's ever been on any live stream.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about how that channel works. We're going to talk about everyone stealing our idea, where you buy things and it comes with like a free pizza. Because apparently Google is trying to do same-day delivery to compete with guys like Amazon who are trying to do the same thing in certain markets.
They avoided us being able to sue them for billions of dollars, though, by making it not like when you buy a product, you get something.
Yeah.
But they did make it so you can get food to your house.
Yeah, so we're pretty miffed about that. AMD has showcased the 7990 reference design, so there's been a power color like Devil 13 version, but other than that, it's been it's not, there hasn't been an actual AMD reference card, so that's coming, which is exciting. Windows Blue has been leaked and showcased, so there's some videos showing some of the new functionality, so that's a good one. Was there any doubt that streaming games online is coming? Speaking of sort of routers and enhancing your online gaming experience. AMD has released details about their Sky graphics card solutions that are going to be compute-level cards to compete with something like NVIDIA's Grid technology, where all the computing is done somewhere else and you just stream the game experience to yourself. Activison is showing off a prototype facial expression rendering thing for one of their upcoming engines. They're giving us like a really futuristic look into their lab. And did you check out that video?
Yeah.
Unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
Like, it's still eerie, but the fact that it's being done in real time is extremely exciting.
Something I found that was pretty funny was all the people that were like, "Oh my God, why doesn't it have a fan?"
What?
The Sky.
Oh, that's not what we're talking about anymore.
Oh, I was focused on this.
That was like...
I'm trying to work with people on figuring out the audio problem.
I actually... Okay, you know what? Here, fine, here. Tell them what the other 3 things are going to be while I lower the mic.
Why aren't electronics worth anything? So he brought up that Micron lost money last year and Red Bull made an insane amount of money. And he finds it interesting that Apple's net profits are about 25%, but everyone rages at them for making so much money, while other companies selling sugar water are making way more, like way larger margins than that.
Are sponsoring F1... Oh, oops, I'm probably a little close.
They sponsor everything.
They sponsor F1 teams and sort of everything that they want, and yeah, and apparently no one's upset about this. Like, they have the marketing budget of the entire PC industry combined, as far as I can tell.
But that's kind of, they will sponsor anything. Like, they sponsor LANs, they sponsor everything, and there's no way they are actually gaining from that. So I think people are happy with what Red Bull does with their money, while Apple does absolutely nothing. They're just like, yeah, we'll make cooler commercials so more people buy our stuff.
Red Bull does that too.
Yes, but Red Bull also sponsors stuff like jumping from almost space and flying all the way down, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Like, they make really cool events.
And I want to talk about this at the end. This is more of an after-party topic. Obviously, we're going to do some discussion about Fast Track and Fast Track Plus, which is WD's technology for making the
No. Oh.
All right, so I blame Slick for that entirely. That was obviously his fault.
He was setting up the camera. The camera was not plugged into the mic. I was setting up the mic. The other end of the cable is not plugged in there. So.
All right. So hopefully that sounds great, and you guys are enjoying the audio now. Okay, so we're going to do all of our discussion about Fast Track Plus, which is WD's network prioritization functionality in their routers, and then we're going to give away those 4 routers. We're going to talk about stuttering in games and how that relates to frames per second, which is not the same thing at all. And actually, we're going to have a special guest on the live stream next week. Ryan Shrout from PC Perspective, is actually going to be joining us. He has an outstanding article about micro-stuttering and stuttering in general on graphics cards, and how you can detect it, how you can avoid it, and how graphics card benchmarking is going to change completely in the next sort of year or 2 here. It's just going to
get a lot more sciencey. Right now, it's just kind of general observation.
Yes.
And this will come down to like actual, like what we get from the experience performance benchmarks.
What hits the eyes of the gamers who are actually playing the games, which is pretty crazy. Apparently, there's no video on YouTube about the live stream, so we can go see if that actually meant. Sometimes YouTube delays publishing, so it looks like, yeah, it's still publishing that to subscribers' feeds. So hopefully that'll be out soon. So there you go, guys. All right, so let's get into our first topic, which is going to be
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it feels like I've covered all the topics now, so why don't we do some Twitter Q&A?
Okay.
Where's my keyboard? All right. So let's see if I can remember my my keywords here. There we go, Twitter. Oh, look at that. The first thing we see is Western Digital tweeting about how we're going to be giving away some sweet routers on our live stream tonight. So there's some. And yes, Team Dignitas is also saying that you can watch live and you can have a chance to win a router. How many followers do they have on Twitter, I wonder? There you go. 31,000 followers. That's awesome. Wow, they're very active too. Look at that, 12,500 tweets. You can tell the difference between like celebrities who have a Twitter account and actually have like someone tweeting for them. Like you can look at a couple tweets and you can look at how many tweets they actually send out. And you can tell people who are just like, follow me and I'll follow you, horse, because they'll be following like a bajillion people and then a bajillion and 6 people will be following them. But wow, it looks like they're really dialed into their community.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's very cool. What is the major difference between PA and PB on ASUS monitors? PA is ProArt, which is pre-calibrated, and PB is basically the same monitor but without pre-calibration.
And there's ever so slightly different feature sets.
Yes. So ProArts have things like the grid alignments for graphic design and stuff like that you can overlay. Common PC building mistakes, forgetting to plug in your graphics card power, screwing up and not quite plugging in entirely like a motherboard power connector, because sometimes they can be at a bit of a weird angle.
RAM slots.
Forgetting to put thermal compound on things.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
That's not fun.
Whoops.
Where'd you go?
I fell. I want to be the same height as you on the live stream, because I like to keep up appearances.
He sits very straight and his chair is very high, and then I sit farther away from the camera, lean over, and my chair's lower.
He actually is farther away from the camera, so yeah, it makes my little man complex feel a lot better. Does Canada not do daylight savings time? Yes, we do, but it's over, so that's why we're back to standard time. Yes, Taylor, you're correct. The audio was going through the camera and not the boom mic because, quite frankly, you guys, I mean, I know there's always an excuse, although, you know what, we haven't had technical difficulties the last couple weeks, I think.
2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks in a row. So this week, technically it's Good Friday, which is technically a statutory holiday, and technically I came back from a family event that I was like actually supposed to be at, and came back to do the live stream. I have no idea why you're here doing this, but good work, because I'm not paying you. All right. So yeah,
we're the best. Work on a holiday, and instead of getting like bonus pay for working a holiday, you just get nothing.
You're technically a manager, so I actually don't have to. I actually, you know what? Costco requires managers to work every stat holiday.
Yeah.
Because managers are the only salary employees in the company, and so they don't have to pay them time and a half. Because managerial employees, you don't have to pay overtime to. So that's why they do it. So every single manager in Costco, if you ever want to talk to a manager at Costco, go on a stat holiday, because there's someone in every single department who's the manager of that department, guaranteed, 100%.
It's an interesting
There's a tech tip for you.
Of the day, yeah. Go to Costco on holidays.
That's right. It's a company-wide policy, so do go there. Do check that out.
Apparently prairies don't do daylight saving time.
The prairies don't do daylight savings time? Wow, they are so backwards in every possible way. No, I'm just kidding, you guys. I love you guys. I drove across the prairies once. I can't remember it because there was nothing notable. Yes. You know what? It wasn't that bad. People talk about how flat it is, and as like a BC boy, like I grew up here in British Columbia in Vancouver, I was expecting to be just blown away by how flat it is. Oh, Linus, you'll be able to see as far as the... You know, it's not that flat. Like, having had the privilege in my life to stand on an ocean shore, I know what flat looks like, and the prairies didn't look like the ocean, I'll tell you that much. They don't have the cool breeze of the ocean. They don't have an ocean at all. Oh, I'm just piling it on here.
I used to go to Edmonton for hockey trips with my hockey
sorry
team.
to hear. That's not really prairies either, though. That's like...
No, I know, but on the way and a little bit past is...
Yeah.
But then I also would drive past that for family trips and stuff, and I've been across a few times. I slept for most of it.
Well, yeah.
Or played hockey, but like...
You know what? Part of it might have been that I was so super stoked on getting my driver's license that I just didn't care. Because I got my driver's license, and my mom's hilarious because she's like, okay, that's it, you're a driver now. And all of a sudden I'm driving home from the licensing office, driving standard, never driven a car. I'm like, okay, we're in. I know Maple Ridge isn't exactly like a metropolis, but we're in downtown. We're in the core of Maple Ridge, and she's like, okay, drive home. I'm starting on a hill, coming out of an underground parking lot with no visibility. I'm like, Ma, this makes no sense. Why are we doing this? Why are you doing this to me? So then that night, we pack up and drive across the country. So I drove to Halifax and back.
Holy
Actually,
crap.
we went all the way to Charlottetown.
That's a good way to learn how to drive.
I learned to drive.
Makes
And
sense.
we went all the way across the country and back in something like 12 days or 11 days.
You know what they should
stupid
do
like that.
for driver's ed courses? It should just be like, you know what? Take a few days off work. We're going all the way across and all the way back.
That would be amazing.
You'd learn like everything you'd need to know, and like as you go over, make the driver person go through city centers.
Right. Oh, that's what we did. She made me drive in Montreal.
Yeah, like
They're
do it.
crazy.
I know. Make them do it though.
They're crazy.
That would be like the best driver's ed ever.
Like Montreal drivers, man. Look, let me tell you. You know how LA drivers have like a terrible reputation?
Yeah.
They got nothing on Montreal drivers. Nothing. I was coming into the city, and I was like, by then I'd been driving for I had 3 days driving experience under my belt, so I was a pro, right? So I was going like 15, 20K over the speed limit, and it's like a 90 road, so I'm going like 110 kilometers an hour. So it's about 65, 70 miles an hour for you American folks. And I'm worried. And my mom's like, okay, keep up with the flow of traffic. Keep up with everyone's blowing past me. I'm already going over the speed limit. So I'm over in the very far right lane, the slowest lane, and I'm like sitting there all worried because I'm like speeding and like I'm not sure what to do, but people are going so fast. And then all of a sudden this cop blows past me. Must have been doing like 30, 40 kilometers an hour faster than me. So for our American viewers, about 25 miles an hour faster than me he was going. And the guy, he doesn't have his lights on, doesn't have his siren on. He's just a French cop drinking a coffee behind his wheel, cruising to work. And I'm like, okay, apparently it's just all right here. So off we go. So I hit the pedal and we kept up with the flow of traffic.
You know what they should do? Okay, I'm gonna like advance on my theory from before where they should have driver's ed do that.
Yes.
They should have everyone do that for 1 week in grade 12, and it can just be known as like Hell Week.
That should be a credit.
Yeah.
Like learning to drive should actually be like valid. You know what? I think it is. No, I did get credits for my driver's ed actually. So
Really?
bad suggestion.
Okay, but it should be in school. They should make everyone for 1 week go across and back, and that would just be like the most hellish, ridiculous week everywhere. And all the older people would just walk to work. But it can be like the 1 week where everyone's like, okay, now everyone that is learning how to drive knows how to drive.
That would be very cool. That would be cost prohibitive. They'd have to get cars for everyone. My school barely had money for construction paper for everyone by the time I was done with elementary school.
Construction. Yeah, we had some problems with that too.
No, seriously. When I was in about grade 10 of high school, they went from using white paper for like photocopies and handouts to using that brown paper that's like thin enough that you could decapitate a man with it if you throw it hard.
Like sharp paper cuts and stuff.
Yeah, no, it was incredible.
I remember my teachers used to ask us, like, if we were doing art projects. I remember she used to ask me and, like, a few of my friends that were, I noticed later on, the athletic kids who sucked at art, to use less of, like, the colored paper. I didn't figure it out until I got into, like, kind of high school and stuff. And
That's
I
because
realized,
you're special.
well, the teachers would bring up, like, yeah, okay, this stuff actually costs a lot. And I'd be like, oh. She didn't want me to use it because I sucked. Okay,
That's
that
right.
makes so much more sense. I'm going nowhere in art. She knows this. I know this. It's not a big problem. I don't know.
Oh wow. Okay. So let's do a little bit of Twitter talk here. Should I keep the cloth that came between my keyboard and screen with my laptop? You know what? Good idea.
Yeah. Whenever you close it, just put it in
because on Slick's keyboard right here, I can see marks from his key from here right here.
Yeah.
From his keys touching the screen itself.
It's been more obvious than this before too.
Yep. Have you looked at my MSI?
Yeah, you can totally tell. You can see the individual squares.
It has etched keys. Really good idea, guys. When you get a laptop, either get something that goes with it or keep the one that came with it. Put that between the screen and the keyboard because it will scratch your screen. With glass screens, it's less of an issue because, you know, whatever, oh crap, I forget, coefficient of hard, whatever the hardness rating is.
Yeah.
It's like T, it starts with a T or something.
I'm not going to remember.
Can't remember for the life of me, but Mohs hardness scale.
Yeah.
So in theory, a keyboard key cannot scratch a glass screen, but plastic could scratch against plastic. So if you have a plastic screen cover, that's an issue. Apparently our Twitch chat moderators are Nazis. Sorry to hear that. They are the same moderators as our forum. So
some of them are.
Some of them are, apparently? Okay.
There's about equal...
Slick's in charge. So direct all complaints to...
Do it. If you have problems...
@SlickPC on Twitter, if you have some kind of a moderation issue, and he will personally take care of it within 5 minutes.
For one, I never check the messages there, so that might be a problem. Contact me on the forum. That's the best way. Contact me on either Twitter or the forum if you're having any problems with moderation.
Don't contact me on the forum, because Slick broke my private message inbox, so we're...
I didn't break it.
Well, it doesn't work.
I just don't know how to fix it.
Acer monitor video is cut off halfway. Actually, it's not halfway. It is at the end. The only thing that's missing is the outro. So it is a glass screen on the monitor. The only thing that was missing was, thank you for watching, blah, blah, blah. We had a little clip at the end that I can't find the footage for, so. Linus Tech Streams, yes I do. What's with the white Play-Doh behind me? You know what? Funny story, actually. Great question. We were using that for when you're doing sort of product glamour shots up close. It's nice to be able to have like a white background, but you don't always want to just lay the product flat on a table. So what I did was I took this Lazy Susan here. For those of you who don't know what a Lazy Susan is, it's one of those tables that turns on its own. There you go, you turn it around like that. You can't see it spinning, but trust me, it is. And then I used Play-Doh to build up a thing that I could prop the thing on, and then I could spin it, and if we blew out the whites enough in post, you actually couldn't see the Play-Doh or this. It just looked like the product was spinning in midair.
You couldn't tell that there's a terrible paint job.
Yeah, you couldn't tell that, well, you know what? That's actually not entirely my fault. There were adverse weather conditions that affected my ability to paint correctly.
That's like blaming the map.
Well, often it is the map's fault. I mean, maybe if like we hadn't lost the coin toss and them being able to choose the map, or will you get the 4K monitor? I actually tweeted about this today. I don't know if I've told you this yet. I am seriously considering selling my motorbike. Oh, so awesome. Because you know how Twitter has the 140 character limit, right? So I tweeted, should I sell my bike and get a 4K monitor? You wouldn't believe how many people thought I was talking about a bicycle. No. And they were like, a 4K monitor costs like 1 million times more than a bike, so why are you even considering that? No. A motorcycle. My motorcycle is probably worth about $3,000.
There are pedal bikes that are worth more than that motorcycle.
That is true, but I think that's not what they assumed that I owned.
Yeah.
Do I look like an extreme BMXer?
It's not usually BMX bikes.
Maybe okay, not BMX. No, it can be.
I'm sure it can be, yeah.
Yeah, it can be.
But some bikes, like BMX, road bike, mountain bikes, whatever, stunt bikes, they can all get insanely expensive.
Yes, that's true. So my bike is actually a not particularly expensive motorbike, but there's a 4K monitor available now from Sharp that's a 32-inch, and it's around $5,500, and I have found a place that has stock in Canada.
What?
So they're like ready to rock.
In Canada?
They're ready to sell this to me.
That's crazy.
So I'm considering moving the bike, and
that's interesting.
I have no time to ride anymore.
No, I know.
I was riding to work every day, but I no longer work out of the NCIX office, so I don't commute anywhere. And that was part of the justification for getting the bike in the first place, was I was going to save money on insurance and gas 6 months out of the year when I didn't insure my car, and I'm not insuring my car anymore anyway, because I don't need it, I don't go anywhere. And then when I go somewhere on the weekend, I have the baby. What am I going to do, strap a baby to a motorcycle?
You could be that guy that everyone takes a picture about and puts online.
Yeah, that guy with
look at this idiot
with a baby in a sidecar, or like a stroller, like attached by a rope to the back of the
go around a corner.
Yeah, just like drifting
a baby behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, not cool.
That could be.
I mean, cool, but
that could be a movie.
I know.
Like get The Rock to be the guy that drives the motorcycle.
Holy crap!
Drifting baby.
And we could get like Hulk Hogan to be like the grandpa of the baby.
Of course.
Who also drifts with the baby.
100%. The grandpa is like the guy who taught everyone. He's the original.
The original baby. Drifter. And then okay, no, he's actually the hero of the movie. He's actually the star because it's when his son sort of, you know, picks up the family mantle and starts getting all the attention, and then he has to like get back into the game, and he's been out of it for so long, and like the grandpa of the other drifting baby is like talking smack about him.
He's like the
daycare.
hardcore one and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then our drifting baby grandpa is like the good guy.
And he wears like a pink muscle shirt.
Yeah. Hollywood.
If anyone from Hollywood is watching, for the low price of $250,000, you can have that movie idea.
That's very conservative.
Actually, that's a very good value.
Yeah.
Everyone should just take us up on that. You know what? We should just stop making tech videos.
Just start suggesting new business ideas.
Yeah, we should just, that should be our entire live stream for the rest of the night, is we're just going to talk about videos that we could make instead of tech videos.
How about
all the viewers went like this.
We could also try to come up with a business suggestion out of every Twitter question that we get.
Oh, that would be just unwatchable. Okay, so let's move on into some of our actual discussion topics. So here we go. 7990. How stoked are you on this?
It was probably smart of them to do it.
They've been working on it a while. This has been rumored for a while. So guys, if you haven't seen it already, it's on every news site everywhere is this picture of this guy holding up a 7990 graphics card. It looks like a 13-inch long card. That's a long graphics card. Yeah. I mean, guys, remember that Tahiti is a larger graphics core than GK104. So it will consume more power. It is a more complicated card to build. It will output more heat than a GTX 690. But they have managed to get things going, and their claim of it being whisper quiet, I 100% believe it. Because look at that. That looks like an Arctic cooling designed heatsink.
Yeah.
Those look like 100 millimeter fans at least. Those might be 110, anywhere from 100 to 110 mil. So those are going to be quiet. It's dual slot. It looks like they've gone with a single DVI and 4 mini display ports, so you can drive up to 5 displays off this guy without any kinds of splitters, which is extremely exciting as well. It'll obviously run Eyefinity because it's their flagship card. The one thing that bothers me about the 7990 is the fact that, and this is in line, you know what, maybe we're going to tie in our stuttering conversation here.
Two different conversations.
Did you read the full article on PCPer?
I have skimmed it.
Okay, did you read the one on Anantech?
I have skimmed it.
You skimmed both of them, great. A fat lot of good you are. Okay, between the two articles, they released them almost the same time. Anantech's is more in collaboration with AMD, and PC Perspectives is more in collaboration with NVIDIA, talking about this hot button topic, which is frame times versus frame rates. So how long did it take each frame to render versus how many frames in general were shown on the screen within a given second, which is FPS, frames per second.
And FPS, general frames per second, includes things like a little sliver of a line on one side that you don't actually even notice.
So Anantech didn't really look at that much. Okay, so back to more history, and we're going to cover this in more depth next week, but basically Fraps covers how many frames that the game called for to be drawn, whereas some of these new methods, like what PC Perspective is doing, where they're using a capture card to pull the actual images off the DVI port, are looking at how many frames actually got displayed to the user, and there is a discrepancy. There are dropped frames, and there are tiny little frames that were barely even shown.
And those are counted.
And those are counted by a Fraps measurement. So what they discovered, and PCPer particularly looked at this.
Wait, 1 second. Okay. He's saying Fraps measurement. This is all FPS calculations. We use Fraps. A lot of people use Fraps.
Everyone uses Fraps up till now.
Yes, but if you are looking at anything in your game that is telling you the FPS, it's the same. It's not just Fraps.
Fraps, EVGA Precision, MSI Afterburner, all those tools are going to tell you a frame rate that might not actually have anything to do with what your eye is actually seeing. Like mind blown, right? Because we all thought it was right, or at least pretty darn close, for so long. Yeah. So that's that. So okay, going back to that, what PCPer discovered was that in Crossfire, the experience may appear smoother just because of the fact that there's so much more horsepower behind it that it's able to draw the frames faster. And for whatever reason, enabling VSync fixes the issue to a great degree. So some people are encountering it, some other ones aren't. But generally speaking, running Crossfire actually may not be providing a performance benefit.
Yeah, a performance benefit in the not the frap sense.
Yes. So you're going to be drawing, or you're going to be calling for more frames per second, and the horsepower is there. But what actually makes it to your eye may just, it may have all been dropped frames and what they're calling, shoot, I forget the word for them. Runts or something like that.
Right, yeah.
So these frames that actually didn't really mean anything.
The like sliver frames that no one ever sees.
That not only do you not necessarily see, but may actually make your gaming experience worse. Like you've all seen tearing before, right? Where my hand, okay, so my hand's on the screen like this, and there's like a break in my wrist where the rest of my arm is kind of over on one side and my hand's here, and there's like this line. So Crossfire can actually cause more of those breaks in the frame, making the overall experience look choppier. And NVIDIA isn't 100% clean either. But what both the AnandTech and PC-Per articles agreed on was that AMD's got it worse than NVIDIA right now, and that they're working on it very aggressively, trying to get it fixed. But in the meantime, 7990 is two 7970s and relies on Crossfire for any performance improvement over a single card.
At the same time, though, AMD has been very aggressive with their drivers ever since the Never Settle drivers. So I believe that they will fix this.
And you want to hear something fascinating about the Never Settle drivers? This wasn't called out specifically in either of those articles, but it was alluded to somewhat. Around the time that AMD had frame times brought to their attention that they had this stuttering. So where you might have a very high frame rate, but you're moving around and there's like a hitch, but the frame rate's still okay because there was one frame that had a long frame time and causes that stutter. Around the time that AMD had that brought to their attention was around the time they started developing the Never Settle drivers. So what AMD had said about this whole conversation is not that they're upset that they had this, that there's this expose on their driver optimizations. The thing they said they're upset about is they've been leaving this performance on the table for years probably. Because you look at AMD's cards. A 7970 is a larger, more complicated, theoretically more powerful graphics card than GTX 680, or graphics chip than GTX 680. AMD spends more to deliver a 7970 to you than NVIDIA spends to deliver you a 680. Hard fact. Their coolers cost about the same. The PCB design is going to cost more on a more power-hungry, larger, more complicated part. There's more layers to the PCB, all of those things. Not only that, they throw 3 gigs of RAM on you, or on there for you. No, they don't throw 3 gigs of RAM on you. Have all the RAM! So they throw 3 gigs of RAM at you versus 2 on a reference 680. It is a more expensive card. There is no reason why for so long 680 was able to beat or be competitive with 7970. With the latest drivers, every roundup we've done, AMD at the same price point has been just, well, cleaning up.
Yeah, to be completely honest.
Not to mention all the free games that they're throwing at. There's a
Never
rumor.
Settle games are insane.
There's a rumor that in addition to Battlefield 4, there's another huge unreleased title that's going to be part of the next Never Settle. Never Settle is not ending.
Holy crap.
So basically, buying an AMD graphics card gives you 2 to 3 AAA games.
Isn't there like, I read something on the forum where someone was talking about, our forum, where someone was talking about how if you built a computer using like all these certain parts, you could just get like an absurd amount of games.
Yep.
And it was like if you're building a computer for like, say their parents are trying to give them like some crazy super awesome Christmas present and you're a family friend or something, you're building the computer for them. Like, you can deliver this computer to the kid with, like, 6 AAA titles.
That's awesome.
Like, holy crap.
Right.
That's so much money.
And you know what? AMD is taking that strategy, and actually, I don't know if this is public knowledge. The deck wasn't marked confidential, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's out there.
Not our fault.
But I heard a rumor from not an AMD source that AMD is going to be taking this strategy to their CPUs as well.
Awesome.
So
that's smart.
So they're going to be taking a high-end Black Edition FX chip, and they're going to be throwing a AAA title or 2 at it. And combine that with our discovery that on Windows 8, the 8350 is already very competitive with the 3570K.
Quite a bit stronger.
And it's $20 cheaper, and the platform is anywhere from $20 to $50 cheaper.
This could be the kick in the butt that AMD needs.
This could be the kick in the butt that they need, getting the, actually enhancing the gaming experience by going, yes, you have this gaming machine, you don't want to pirate games, so here, we'll give you the games. You don't want to pirate games, you don't want to pay for games.
And like a lot of the games I noticed that they're giving out will have, they might still be single player focused games, but they'll have a multiplayer aspect.
Right, so it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So speaking of multiplayer, why don't we do a quick sponsor break with our Intel video that we ask you guys to sit and watch for 20 seconds? This video is brought to you by our trusted partner Intel. For a limited time only, with the purchase of any unlocked Core i5 or Core i7 Intel CPU, get a free Intel beanie with a chance to win an Intel snowboard. Valid for Canadian and US customers only. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, visit intelgamingpromo.com. And we're back. Thank you. That was, I think, the smoothest we've ever executed.
That's probably the only smooth one we've ever executed.
No, I think I had one that was okay.
Oh, did we? Okay.
I think we had one where we screwed up the first one within one live stream, and then we tried it again later in the same live stream.
Okay, and you fixed it later on, right?
Yes,
right,
yes.
Right.
Fixed it later on, and then it was good. But that one was perfect the first time.
I still want that snowboard.
So, well, I think they got enough entries now that we are not going to have a chance to snowboard.
I have an entry.
You have an entry?
I have an entry.
I wish you luck. You know what? I've read the terms and conditions, and I don't think you're eligible because you work for a company that worked with Intel on the promo.
Oh.
But if you win it, I won't tell anybody. So whatever.
It's like
none of you saw that.
No, I don't have an entry. I don't know.
Someone's gonna track you down on a ski slope somewhere, and they're gonna be like,
"You!" I'm gonna have to like carbon fiber wrap it or something.
I know. Wouldn't that be the worst thing ever? Like winning some bawling like cannot has awesome swag,
and then have to
putting like My Little Pony stickers all over it
to make it unrecognizable.
Yes.
That'd be horrible.
You'd be the only one who knows how cool you are. Which is basically how it works now.
Oh, that was not nice.
Come on, that was pretty good.
That was
a good burn. Ouch.
Ugh.
Okay, anyway, speaking of enhancing the game experience, we want to have a quick conversation about the WD Mynet series of routers. So this is a sponsored segment. WD is helping us give away 4 routers to unsuspecting live stream viewers, so it would only be appropriate if we tell you exactly why you should care about this particular router. So this is the one that we actually used for an episode of NCIX Tech Tips. Actually, here, do you mind being my Vanna White and holding that for me? You're so hot. That's why it works so well to have you be Vanna White for me.
Because I'm touching it. Is that part of it too?
Yeah, it's part of the sensual massage of the router that really enhances the viewing experience for me anyway. I don't know about the rest of them. I heard the audience is pretty into you though.
Yeah.
It might be all good.
I don't know.
I mean, there should be a lot of girls watching this week.
Oh, at least 97%.
At least 97%.
I might have that statistic backwards.
Yeah, I think it's backwards.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
You know what? We appreciate our female viewers very much though because they keep us in line. Because there's been a couple times when I've said stuff that they didn't like, and they are all over me. They're like,
they're on that.
They're on that. They're like, Linus, that was actually insensitive. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You're actually right. My bad. So
the 3% of you are completely correct.
They hold me accountable in a way that I think is actually valuable. It's like the last thing I want. See, because if they let me know right away, then I'll already know what my wife's going to be mad about when I go back inside the house if she's tuned into the live stream.
That's way more valid of a point than I thought it was going to be.
Because the funny part is sometimes it'll be a jab at how there's no PC girl gamers, but my wife has actually played like a butt ton of Left 4 Dead, a ton of Team Fortress 2. She's played like...
we still got to have our Team Fortress 2 LAN.
That's going to be awesome, actually. Yeah. We should totally do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she's actually like not bad at video games, and she's not like a stereotypical girl gamer or anything. Like you'd never pick her out as any kind of stereotype anything. But anyway, okay. So we used this very router that you see to make this video for NCIX. So for those of you who aren't from Canada, NCIX is a Canadian retailer. So I'm just gonna skip to the part where we did our torture test, and I'm gonna actually make you guys sit through this. It's only a couple minutes long, and it really does showcase the features of these routers in a very meaningful way. Here we go.
Bank hellhole, otherwise known as Slick's house, where we are going to be doing our torture test on the Western Digital Mynet N900 central router to see if it can handle anything we can throw at it, pretty much. His internet connection is 25 megabit down, 2 megabit up, and we are absolutely hammering it. We have Diablo 3 as well as another game updating right now. We have an FTP download going on this notebook over a wired connection that is downloading my cat videos at around 650 kilobytes per second. We have a Skype call being made between us and Slick right here. Slick, say hi. Hello. And the internet connection running on Slick's PC is actually a separate one. We are wirelessly using the neighbor's connection, which we of course have permission for. We are streaming, yes, we have one of his other roommates streaming on XSplit. We have 2 uTorrent clients running on separate PCs, all running off the Mynet Central here, that are going both up and down. And finally, we are streaming an HD video on Netflix on this other iPad. So through all this, let's have a look at what we have done to Slick's internet connection, which, remember guys, used to be 25 megabit down, 2 megabit up. Now the thing to remember is that fast track technology actually dynamically analyzes the kind of traffic going through your network and optimizes your connection thusly. So, for example, you can see that in our speed test, we got a ping of almost 1 second to the nearest server. Our upload speed has been decimated to 0.38 megabit per second, and our download speed is more than half consumed. And in spite of that, when I take one of my higher priority applications, such as, hey Slick, okay, see, there we go, such as Skype, or my Netflix video stream, and I want to navigate to a different part of the video, we are not seeing slowdown here, but what we are seeing is we are seeing dynamic slowdown on things like our video game updates and things like our FTP downloads and torrents. So I hope this served as a very practical demonstration of what Fast Track technology does. Remember, the key difference between Fast Track Plus, which is on the 900 routers, and Fast Track is that Fast Track Plus doesn't even require, besides no user input, no profiles even to be loaded into the router. It analyzes the traffic and adjusts for what it deems to be most important completely automatically. Thank you for joining us in Slick's humble abode.
So I think we're back here.
We gave you that real-world demonstration showing how no matter how hard you hammer
so we are going to start
in this case we were using the
3
central,
of the router giveaways, and we're going to handle the giveaways
no matter
in a bit of a different way than we have in the past.
So
I know a lot of the people tonight are new viewers, and I know this because Team Dignitas tweeted about our stream tonight, WD tweeted about our stream, so you might not be actually following me and Slick on Twitter. And normally when we do giveaways, we have it be the first person to tweet back at us with the correct answer. But that's actually not going to be fair because a lot of you guys don't necessarily...
You could do a whole lot worse for yourself than picking up a WD Mynet N9.
My bad, you guys. So anyway, we're running the giveaway a little bit differently. Instead of having you tweet at us, because you don't necessarily follow us yet, hopefully you'll follow us soon, we are going to have you send an email with the correct answer. So this is going to be a pop quiz. I'm going to cover the router again sort of very briefly because that was more of a showcase of Fast Track Plus, which is WD's intelligent technology that sorts through your networking traffic and automatically prioritizes. So they're sending firmware updates that are going to allow it to continue to prioritize. The 900s are the higher end routers with Fast Track Plus are the ones that do it automatically, whereas Fast Track relies on profiles that are sent out with subsequent firmware. So the Mynet N750 and 600 are using Fast Track, whereas this has Fast Track Plus. And the central one, which also has a hard drive inside it, also has Fast Track Plus. So the benefits of this particular router, I'm going to go through them very briefly. And of course, you guys are all paying very close attention so that you'll have a chance to win their signed router. Are the fact that it has 7 gigabit Ethernet ports compared to the industry standard, which is about 4. It's great because then you don't have to add a switch to your network necessarily. I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot more than 4 network-connected devices in my house. How about you?
I fight with switches all the time, actually. My dad does a lot of what's called BOINC. We have a BOINC and folding section on our forum. Go check it out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And my dad does this boinking like crazy. So we've got multiple computers on there.
Did you just say your dad boinks like
Oh
crazy?
my god, I'm not even going to go into that. And they all have to be connected to the internet. So we fight with switches all the time because my router only has 4 plugs on it.
Right.
So we've got like all the people's computers plus 2 more that we need for like home theater and etc.
Right.
And then all the folding machines need their own. So we've got a router and then 2 switches.
And remember, guys, that each switch that you run out means that every computer on the other end now has a single 1 gigabit backbone back to the main switching routing power that is powering your network. So while they could transfer to each other at full gigabit, if these guys had traffic going here and sort of here all over the place, there's going to be a bottleneck there. So having more native ports on your router is ideal if you can get away with it. Also, because it's Western Digital and they are a storage company, it has 2 USB ports, one of which is USB 3, so you can actually add additional storage to the router itself. A lot of routers have that feature these days, but I mean, it's WD, so I tend to trust them in terms of storage. So you can easily add things like MyBook Live to, I think we have a MyBook Live there. Nope, that is a MyBook Thunderbolt Duo. So, and we have a My Passport back there. So I'd love to show you guys a MyBook Live, but I actually can't. So here you go, guys. Pop quiz. We're going to do the first 3 now, and we're going to do the last one at the very end. So I would like you to email Linus Tech Tips, LINUSTECHTIPS, @gmail.com. Go ahead. Get your email client ready now. LinusTechTips @gmail.com. Subject line. If you do not submit it with this subject line, I am not going to accept your entry. I will be doing a filter.
Only people in the US can win.
Oh yeah, only people in the US, guys. Sorry.
Unfortunately, we are from Canada.
Yeah.
And
WD,
that doesn't count.
Western Digital US is sending out the prizes, so they're the ones that are in charge of that. Okay, thank you. That was a good thing to call out. You did well. So, question number 1. What is the difference, in as much detail as possible, given that you have to be the first one to reply, between Fast Track and Fast Track Plus? Can I sing that song? Like, is that allowed, or is that like copyright infringement?
Singing it or humming it should be fine, should it not?
As long as we don't actually download an MP3 of it and
play
it.
the song.
Okay, can we sing it together? Should we make them sit through that every time?
Oh, that'd be kind of horrible.
Wouldn't that be awful?
We'll probably lose like 80% of our stream.
80% of the
Might
stream.
be worth
Can
it.
you imagine someone tuning in during that?
Just like, what is this? Why is this on Twitch?
Okay, next question, guys. We're not going to announce the winners on the stream because we've had bad experiences with that in the past. We will contact you by email. We'll let you know if you won because we've had experiences with things arriving out of order, and then later we find out that the person we thought won actually didn't win. Okay, so what would you say are the main advantages compared to competitors of the Mynet N900 compared to other high-end competitors? Bearing in mind, it is an almost $200 router. All right. Last question for our Q&A, and this one is not related to Western Digital, although the last one will be. Which Team Dignitas player has an S in his name? This is one that you can Google pretty easily, I guess, but we're going to be picking the best and first answer for each of them. We'll contact you by email, and without further ado, we're going to get further into our live stream here. Do you have any topics?
Not really, to be completely honest.
Because I asked you at the beginning of the live stream if you had any topics, and you were like, yeah, but I don't need to brief you on them. Do you actually not have any topics?
Well, I had 7990. I took that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what you get for emailing me your topic ideas earlier in the week.
I sent you a few of these, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I added them.
So you just took... That's where my topics
Well,
are.
now they're mine. They're on my live stream outline, so therefore they're mine.
But you said this is the whole live stream outline.
Yeah, but I wrote it.
Which I have manually added to at this point.
Have you?
Yes.
What did you add? Like a space?
At the bottom.
At the bottom? Oh, you... Okay. Good work. He added one link.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Let's do some Twitter Q&A. So let's see what the peeps on Twitter have to say about our awesome giveaway.
People wanted to know the subject line. Okay, I guess.
If you want to know by now, you're probably too late.
Yeah, I give up on that.
But it would be nice if the subject line was the question.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably way too late for that. Don't worry, guys. We will sift through it. We will find whoever answered the question first, and you will be the winner of an awesome router that has full dual band N450, so that's a total of N900 transfer speeds for up to 900 megabit per second, theoretical. Bear in mind, there's a lot of overhead with wireless, so you're not going to see that in the real world. But it'll be, I mean, there's the same overhead on all the other wireless, so...
Having your cap higher is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, see, there, that. Is that a short people joke?
It could be, because, you know, I'm just going to sit up straight for a second. I'm still further away from the camera. My chair's still lower, and there's still height discrepancy.
Actually, I don't think your chair's that much lower today. It's just that you are fatter than me. So it weighed it down more.
It's not a wow.
Hey, if you're gonna
what a jerk!
If you're gonna go after me for being short, I'm going after you for weighing.
I'm also weighing more because I'm larger. I'm not fat.
Okay, fine, fair enough. All right. Absolutely. Linusception. Oh, okay. I think we did address that.
Yeah, we fixed that.
Decimated means taken down by a tenth. That is a very interesting thing and makes a lot of sense. I did not know that.
That actually totally makes sense.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Thanks for that little tip.
Good work, Richard. You get a gold star for Tweet of the Night.
One internet.
One internet for you. Cocoa or Fruity Pebbles? You know what? Being Canadian, I have never had Pebbles. Yeah, they don't have Pebbles in Canada. Did you even know what Pebbles are?
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, it's
before.
like a Flintstones themed cereal.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I saw ads for it in like Archie comics, but I'd never actually seen it in a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably where I've heard of it then. I used to read Archie comics.
Oh, there you go. Someone finally noticed your thing. You get to talk about it.
Yay! No. We'll let it sit there. I'll talk about it in the after party.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, Slick has a copy of Battletoads here for some reason. Is talking about how AMD could... yeah, well, our show is about technology. Intel happens to be a sponsor of our show, so it's like... I like Intel's promotional items. I think a lot of creativity goes into them. They've had a Rubik's Cube, a really sweet mouse pad that I think I might have one here.
By the way, sorry guys, I'm still sick.
You're always
Yeah.
Check this out. Ugh. They gave away these mouse pads a little while ago, which is like a huge, like, you know how most promotional mouse pads are things that you actually would never consider using as an actual gamer? Like
it's
this
like
is
big and thick,
rubber
and just
back,
good
cloth pad, nice tight weave. Personally, I like that. Got a cool graphic on it. So they had that. They had the Rubik's cubes. They are doing those free toques or beanies, as I guess Americans call them.
There's a slight difference between a toque and a beanie.
Is there?
Yeah, toques go all the way down, and then you fold up the bottom, and beanies just go down.
Okay, then I learned another thing today.
Another decimated, I think, is actually.
I think that was way better than yours.
The difference between toques and beanies just doesn't really matter.
No, but I learned it, and that's the important part because knowledge is half the battle. I mean, is it quite on the same level as giving gamers games? I don't know.
Still cool things though, and like the snowboard is pretty cool.
It's pretty. Like I like swag.
Yeah, I do too.
Some of my most like one of the you know what? I think it's the only swag item that's actually on my desk. My computer desk is my Intel bobblehead. Have you seen that thing?
Yeah.
It is so cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's sorry, I was just gonna say what it is.
No, go for it.
It's a plaster bobblehead. It's about this big. And it has like an Intel bunny suit guy, and the head bobbles, and then he has his hand out here, and it holds your pen. Yeah. And I'm just like, that is like I love really cool, unique swag. So
every year I go to PAX. Sorry, I thought you were done talking.
No, I'm done.
Every year you go to PAX, you get a lanyard with your badge on it. And every single year that me and my group of friends go to PAX, I at least attach all the attachable swag I possibly can to that lanyard. And then at the end of the year, I hang it up on a hook in my room. So I have all these lanyards, like 8 lanyards, with just like all these random like pins and random other swag stuff all over them. And I can remember like what booth gave away what, and it's kind of cool.
So DS Barlow gets mad internets for finishing rebuilding his PC during the stream. However, we're afraid to click the link because
we've had problems before.
yeah, we've had problems with that.
With like things screaming through the speakers, and then that gets to everybody else, and it's just ugly.
I think Kevin wins the internets for being our most astute viewer ever, asking if you happen to be a Firefox user.
And next.
And next tweet. Moving right along. We have a viewer asking, what is the main difference between the new DDR4 RAM as opposed to DDR3? You know what, I haven't done too much looking into DDR4, but what I have done has led me to believe that it is higher frequency, higher density, lower power, higher latency. Just like every single other iteration. So pretty much what we're gonna be looking at is a bit of a change in terms of how the memory controllers are going to be optimized, because with DDR1 it was all about latency. So if you guys aren't familiar with memory specs, the main ones are your frequency, which is the megahertz or gigahertz that it runs at, or gigahertz if you prefer. I pronounce it the way most people do. Gigahertz is technically correct.
I know.
Anyway, so the gigahertz it runs at, as well as the voltage that is required to run at those rated gigahertz and latency timings. So there's voltage, gigahertz, and latency timings. So latency was everything with DDR1. DDR1, you wanted like CAS2 latency. You wanted your like BH5s and TCCDs. Those were the most popular DDR. I feel so old. Like, who knows stuff like that? Only old people.
You're old.
I know. Like, have you ever heard of BH5s?
I've heard of it, never really cared. Because at that point in time, I was like, I want high capacity RAM so that my game will run.
Okay, to give you some
I
idea.
had ghetto computer.
To give you some idea, high-end BH5s were 256 meg DIMMs.
You know.
And you'd pay like $700 for a 512 kit of BH5s.
See, at that point in time,
like
I was...
high-bin BH5s, like Kingston HyperX. Yeah.
That's when I was at the mode where I'm like, okay, me and my friends all need gaming machines, and we all have no money.
Yeah.
So we need this minimum spec, we need this minimum spec,
Okay.
let's buy it.
I never had BH5s. I never had anything that cool. I had cheapo Samsung no heat spreader memory for my first gaming machine, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was all about latency. Frequencies were quite low. So DDR1 frequencies, according to JEDEC specs, were only 266, 333, and 400. Those were the only JEDEC specs. There were higher ones, obviously. There's always guys like Kingston, Corsair, OCZ at the time, overclocking memory way past spec, and then selling it to gamers who then overclock their motherboards to match. Also, memory latencies and frequencies mattered so much more. You wanted the latencies as tight as possible and the frequencies as high as possible because you could actually eke extra system performance out of them. Before, dual channel memory just made it all totally irrelevant.
AMD processors, 8350.
Particularly that as well. Actually, wait, what? What about the
8350 can benefit from higher speeds.
Okay, that's true. And APUs from AMD benefit again. So there was a long period in the middle where they didn't really benefit, starting with the Athlon 64, which decreased because all the performance benefits that you could gain from memory were so dependent on latencies at the time. AMD, by taking the memory controller and moving it off the chipset onto the CPU, made the latency so negligible that all of a sudden, all the optimizing we were doing to get that latency, AMD could just do it with the cheapest possible memory. So, okay, along comes DDR2. Which Intel benefited from more than AMD because they needed more bandwidth. So DDR2 increased latencies. So on DDR2, a typical memory latency would be kind of like a CAS. Oh crap! I can't even remember. Like a CAS 5, I think, was sort of typical cheapo DDR2. And then frequencies got much higher, so you could get to 533, 667, 800, 1066. These were like DDR2 frequencies. So then DDR3 did, and lower voltages. So this is not something that individual users necessarily care about. We could all be still running DDR1 if it could run fast enough in our desktop systems, and it wouldn't matter. But lower voltages are important for reducing power consumption, which if you've got a ton of machines running, say for example in blade racks in a large supercomputer, then all of a sudden that extra watt that each of your million DIMMs uses
starts to add up pretty quickly. So DDR2 did that. DDR3 increased latencies again. A typical DDR3 latency is 9 or 10 megahertz, and they run at sort of 1333, 1600, 1866. Those are kind of the JEDEC standards. And so DDR4 will be the same thing again. That actually took a really long time to talk about. It was kind of boring. Sorry for that. Memory. It's like hard to get excited about it. But I can. Look at the new Activation engine. Oh, you know what? Activation. You know what? Why don't we check that out? So I'm gonna make you guys sit through. Whoop, I'm showing you my whole live stream agenda. There
They
you
can
go.
only see one small part
Yeah,
of
they
it,
can see one small part of it that I may not actually end up talking about. So
which would be kind of awesome.
that is a good topic, though. We should definitely talk about it. So Activision is showing off some pretty freaking crazy stuff, and we had this actually posted in the Linus Tech Tips news section of the forum. So guys, remember, by posting in the Linus Tech Tips news section of the forum, you can get a mention on the live stream, which is worth 1 internet. So Chrome user posted the link to this YouTube video showing off some of the facial animations that are going to be that are coming out of the Activision lab. So I'm going to turn the volume down, and we're just going to like show you guys some of this crazy stuff that's going on here, because it's just freaking crazy. Look at this guy. Like, look at this guy. He looks like a guy. So they, I think a little bit further on, they have, yeah, there we go. There he goes. He smiles. You look at the wrinkles next to his eyes and like the brow furrowing. He's surprised. He has realistic facial expression. Okay, he's not quite realistic, but
It's pretty close. It gets eerie sometimes because you can notice very small things are off.
Yeah.
But then sometimes, like, it's pretty damn close.
like if he was moving fast and I wasn't studying him, knowing that he's CGI.
That one right there, when he kind of like pushes his upper lip up a little bit and goes, that one is pretty good.
The eye movement, I like.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's actually kind of insane.
That's nuts.
Property of Activision Publishing. Yeah, we didn't make this, just to be like super clear. So here's a little bit of more tech demo. Guys, do check this out. It's only got about 101,000 views. Guys, as gamers, everyone should be so excited about this kind of technology, because this is what it's going to take to move the realism of gaming forward. More physics interaction with environments. I mean, we've gotten to the point where it's not about, like, remember when it used to be making the ball round?
Yeah.
Like, that was the challenge?
That was a really big thing.
Like, that was huge. Where, like, you'd have, like, a bald dude, and if you couldn't actually count the number of straight lines that it took
was
to...
like, whoa, awesome.
Yeah.
Now it's like if you can barely tell
Yeah.
the expression isn't 100% realistic.
Like, do you remember what Cloud Strife's hair looked like? It's like you look at the concept art and you're like, come on! That has nothing to do with it. He doesn't look like that.
Like, not at all.
Yeah, and like Kate Sith. It's like, yeah, right.
There's so much stuff. I used to be so confused, actually, when I was a kid, and I'd be researching a game that's coming up really soon, and I'd be like, this was the concept art?
Yeah, I know, right?
And this is what... Why do you even make concept art? Like, it doesn't look anything similar. Now it's like... Those are pretty much the same thing.
Like-
This one actually looks worse because it was hand-drawn.
Like the manual for Final Fantasy VI has portraits of all of the characters in it.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Lol.
because because okay, there's the sprite, which looks like nothing
No.
besides like hair color
Yeah.
and like an outfit sort of. And then there's the character portrait within the menu, which looks nothing like the sprite and nothing like the portrait in the manual. And then there's the manual, which is like, she's supposed to have Terra's supposed to have pale skin.
This is where suspension of disbelief like, it was so much more important, though. In more old school gaming, it was so much more important. Now it's becoming like, you accept the world, like this is, I'm gonna misquote a few things here possibly,
Shut
but
some water.
there was some poet that came up with suspension of disbelief, and then there was J.R.R. Tolkien who came up with, I can't remember what he actually called it, but it's where you like believe...
Probably something awesome.
It's probably sounded really cool, but I can't remember it. It's where you completely believe in a separate world. So in J.R.R. Tolkien's like world that he created, if something happened that didn't make sense, like there's the laws of physics and everything don't apply to Lord of the Rings, but
Right.
there is laws in that world that, if are broken, destroy your belief in that world.
Right.
So it's not called suspension of disbelief. It's something that he coined.
You know what I thought was probably one of the best examples of this, until things got a little bit crazy at the end, was Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Where there was a set of rules,
Yep.
and it was very believable. Like as a 10-year-old kid reading those books, you could be like, holy crap, is my letter from Hogwarts coming?
And that's why a lot of people did start going like, oh, I'm turning 11. Where's my letter to Hogwarts? Like, all that kind of stuff happened. And you're right, at the end it got a little bit sketchy.
At the end, it's like, oh yeah, the rules of death don't apply to like Dumbledore and Harry for some friggin' reason. It's like, okay. But up until then, it obeyed some basic rules, like...
And still, like, there's apparently lore that you can go into and figure out why that kind of stuff happens. But it's not
But that looks like lore that was made up after the fact.
It's not the automatic belief that comes in.
Ass-covering lore. That's like, oh, we created midichlorians, we better make an excuse for this. Like, oh snap.
That's a perfect reference.
There is so much crap in the original 3 movies.
Oh, whoa, yeah. Someone just brought up we might want to stop talking spoilers. Although if you haven't seen Harry Potter, like, come on, man.
Harry Potter? Really? After all those people were walking around with those shirts that go character X dies?
On page whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the people that walk through the malls with megaphones.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about spoiler alerts for Harry Potter. You know what? All the movies are out. All the books are out. If you haven't seen Harry Potter...
I still care about spoiler alerts.
Go pick up a book.
I think we should try and be a little bit more...
Okay, are you really going to give me... are you going to talk spoiler alerts with like Star Wars? Can I talk about midichlorians?
I liked that reference.
Can I talk about how Darth Vader dies at the end of like episode 6? Like, is that okay?
Oh.
Can I talk about how he turns good?
I wonder what the percentages of viewers on our stream that have seen Star Wars. Like, I wonder if it's the inverse of the female percentage.
Okay, the guy's a freaking tragic hero. So if you didn't know that he was going to do a reversal at the end, then you haven't read any book ever.
Seriously though, I wonder if the amount of viewers that have seen Star Wars is an inverse percentage.
I'm not having this conversation with you. Midichlorians are stupid, and there's so much in the original 3 movies that just would just prove that midichlorians never existed and no one ever knew anything about them. Like, it's like when Obi-Wan describes the Force, he's like, it's an energy field that binds us and surrounds everything. It's like, it's not critters in your bloodstream. Kidding me?
Oh man.
Anyway, realistic video gaming. Good thing. We love it.
We derail Twitter so hard. we were doing Twitter questions.
Were we?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this one because I've talked about it a lot, but AMD has showcased their Sky series of cards, which are going to be competitors for NVIDIA's Grid, which is basically cloud-based gaming, cloud-based rendering. So there's a server somewhere in LA or some kind of a hub that does all the rendering, and then it just your smart TV might as well have some Bluetooth connected controllers of your choice, which that's going to be cool. Having flexibility of controllers on your games.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't like a 6-axis, but I want to play some PS3 exclusive title.
Awesome.
Well, here's the old, screw you, man.
That's an actual thing because I grew up never playing PlayStation. I didn't have a PlayStation. None of my friends had PlayStation. We all had Nintendo or Xbox.
Right.
Once Xbox came out. Like, before then, we all had Nintendo, and then Xbox came out, we got an Xbox. We never went on the PlayStation side. I don't know why. It just kind of happened that way. So now, if I try and go and play PlayStation, I'm like,
And
what
why
is this?
And why should I have to buy a custom controller that suits my liking more when I could just have one controller that I use for actually everything?
And that came into play. I've had to buy Mad Catz controllers that I'm scared about breaking because they form factor to my hands better.
Anyway, so I have no idea how to pronounce his name. IT? Oh, it's some like European thing. IT? Okay. ET, phone home. He posted that in the Linus Tech Tips news section of the forum, so thank you for doing that. It's another Hexus link, so yay Hexus, you guys are awesome, and apparently the link is not to the correct article though, so that's a real shame. Okay, you get 1/2 of an internet point deducted for having a bad link, but you'd still get half an internet point because I was able to find it.
Yeah.
So the Sky Series graphics cards, check that out. No fan. because these are not intended to be installed in individual users' computers. So if there was ever any doubt to you guys that cloud-based gaming is coming, both NVIDIA and AMD are heavily invested in it now. It's coming.
How soon, to what group of people, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we don't know. So graphics core next, frame grab, VCE, whatever all this stuff is. So they're talking pushing to notebooks, handhelds, desktops. I'm sure things like smart TVs, things like consoles, whatever else. AMD and NVIDIA are going to be pushing this so hard. So there's 3 SKUs. There's one based on the same as the 7870, but it's got 4 gigs of RAM. There's one based on the 7970, which has 6 gigs of RAM, and then there's one based on the 7990, which has 6 gigs total, 3 per GPU. So a lot of horsepower going on. And if I got any of those direct SKU to SKU comparisons wrong, I'm sorry, but it's based on the same graphics cores as those chips.
Just to jump back for one quick second, Tolkien's reference was secondary belief, which is based on an inconsistency of which is based on inconsistency and reality within that world.
You know what? That was my problem with the Thomas Covenant books. Did you ever read those?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, there's like 9 of them. I actually made it all the way through them, but it was one of those things where the issue was that things would get really bad and things were spiraling out of control to the point where they were almost, breaking, and then something miraculous happened. Like every time, and it actually gets tiresome.
Yeah.
Because at some point you're just like, okay, they've been pushed to the brink, and then to the brink again, and then to the, like, where is the brink? So you feel like the characters aren't ever in any real danger because the rules don't apply to them. Whereas if the rules apply, if Harry can actually die like a real person and he doesn't just marry Ginny and have beautiful babies that go to Hogwarts, like, he should have died.
Spoilers.
Come on, if you don't know Harry Potter lives, then, like, shame on you.
This is one of the reasons why, this is one of the reasons why I like the Wheel of Time series.
Okay, I haven't.
It makes sense.
Harry should have died. I've had this conversation with you, but I haven't had this conversation on our live stream before. In order for the full impact, in order for him to be a proper sacrificial hero, he had to die. And I know that, you can go, oh, well, Aslan didn't die. Aslan comes back to life. You know what? Screw Aslan. Because Harry was a human. He was not a Jesus figure. He did not have to be resurrected. He should have died. Because it made like everything he did much more real if he died. Yeah. And much more sacrificial. Just
and
like
the impact
what, you killed one of the twins?
The impact and the feel and the climax and all that kind of stuff would have been way more impactful.
Oh,
but yeah. I hate the ending.
I hate the ending. It's terrible.
My least favorite part, though, is not the Harry Potter doesn't die part. I think she could have swung that. But, like the
Matrix White Room,
after.
like Dumbledore's still alive somewhere else. Come on.
That's not even it, though. It's the happy ever after, everything's better now.
Oh,
all of our kids are going to Hogwarts.
Ron and Hermione are married and their kids are the same age as the...
and everything lived happily ever after. I hated that.
I thought she had the stones to not do it. Like, to not go down that path, but...
the ending was just a little bit too cheesy.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal.
Still great, though. Like, I love the books. I love the movies.
Me too. Love the universe. So we're going to do our last featured news item of the week. Oh, actually, our last featured news item of the week was the Activison thing. Wait a minute. Oh, no, that's it. Windows Blue leaked and showcased. So
and, like, installable level leaked.
Yeah, installable level leak. You can install Windows Blue.
People were browsing our forum on Windows Blue.
Were they really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So guys, if you don't know what Windows Blue is a new concept from Microsoft where they're moving away from the sort of monolithic releases of operating systems every 2 to 3 years. I mean, well, you look at the XP cycle, and that was a little bit on the long side, but, you look back sort of at 95, 98, ME, we all like to forget, but 2000, XP was 2002, so they were on like a 2-year cycle. Blue is going to be, maybe Apple wouldn't feel so high and mighty about their way of doing things if everyone didn't freaking copy them.
Oh, that's a weird angle.
How long has Apple been doing this? Years.
Yeah.
OS 10 Leopard, OS 10 Snow Leopard, slightly different sort of leopard.
You're going to get so much flack for this.
It doesn't matter.
Saying that Apple should be butthurt because people copy them when
No,
Apple
I mean,
copies
no.
everything else.
What I said was, like, that's where their attitude comes from. I don't like their attitude. I think it's a bad attitude. I think it's negative. I think it hurts the industry.
So
but
their attitude is that they're happy because they're unhappy because people copy them.
no, their attitude is we're the best because people copy us. So obviously that makes us the leader.
Does that make everyone else that they copy the best?
No, because they don't. That's not their attitude. I'm saying maybe that's where their attitude comes from.
Okay.
Major players like Microsoft have held out for years on no, we're gonna do large operating system releases. We're gonna do them every couple of years.
We
They're
won't
gonna
sell
be
you
$120.
service packs.
We won't sell you service packs. How many times have they said they're not gonna sell us service packs? They're copying Apple. They're doing Apple's approach.
It's
Apple's
not called
approach
a
is,
service pack anymore, but like, come on.
come on, Blue. That's like Pokemon releases. Is that the route Microsoft's gonna go down? We're gonna do like Windows Red,
If you could play Pokemon on like the install screen,
Windows Gold.
it's like a very, very compact version of Pokemon where you should be able to beat the Elite Four before the thing's done.
Windows Gold Color, Windows Gold Advance, Windows Gold MMO. That's actually kind of hilarious.
Windows Gold MMO.
Windows releases like by Pokemon rules, so it's actually the same operating system, but it comes with like a slightly different set of color schemes. The best was, I think, red and blue, because it actually, you could pick the starting Pokemon from the blue game in the red game. It was just, there was like a couple that
You
were
can still
missing.
do that.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, that's great, because it would have been one thing to me if you had to pick a game and then that was your
And then
starting
that's your
Pokemon. But they're just like, yeah, no, pick this game, but you can actually play the other game, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Windows Blue is more of an iterative release of Windows, and apparently it's still very much up in the air internally whether how much they're gonna charge for it, how often these are gonna come, what changes exactly are gonna be there. But some of the highlights that are in there are on the other page of my notes here. So they've done a lot of UI tweaks. So things like Modern UI, formerly known as Metro, so the new Windows 8 UI, now has it has more options for how you can size the windows. You know what? I'll let you. Did you have any of the exceptional
One
features?
is
Okay, yeah, go
they're
ahead.
changing from, I think it was 80-20 or 70-30, but you could have two applications on the screen,
Yeah.
but one of them was 70 or 80%, and the other one was 20 or 30%. I don't remember what the exact
I think it was
numbers are.
80-20.
Maybe, okay,
Yeah, so you could
80-20.
have like an IM chat window here and then a browser.
And the browser.
That was the idea.
Now they finally made it so that you can go 50-50. A lot
Right.
of people were complaining about this. I personally will often, like, Windows 7 and stuff, you can,
Yay,
and Windows
Arrow
8,
Snap.
you can just Windows arrow keys, throw stuff all over the place. I do that all the time. And sometimes you need a little bit more, sometimes I go 80-20, but often it's 50-50.
I actually use the mouse for it every time.
Really?
Yeah, there's awesome like repositories of Windows hotkeys that are like, holy crap, I can do all these things with my keyboard. I never remember them.
No, I know, I forget a lot of it, but Windows arrow
carpal tunnel.
keys are fantastic. I do that all the time. Because it'll bounce, and like if you have multiple monitors, it'll lock to the sides of your multiple monitors.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can like automatically just go like, if it's on the far right side of your screen and you have multiple monitors and the second monitor's on the left, you can just go Windows tap 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 on the left arrow, and it'll
I didn't even know that.
snap slowly all the way over and get all the way to the left side.
So other changes, they're adding a better Movie Maker. I forget what it's called, but Windows Live Movie Maker is going to get an overhaul with a modern UI, which is important not only because they're overhauling Movie Maker, which was due. I mean, it's not as due as
Yeah.
Paint was when Windows 7 came out, and they finally overhauled it. But it's due for a makeover, and that means it's going to be usable, presumably, in a tablet.
Yeah.
And now that you have x86 tablets that have like dual-core Core i5 processors in them,
Well, you would be able to use that anyways then.
you'll be able to take HD movies and actually edit them on your tablet.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter if it was in modern UI. Because if it's an x86 base, you can install
Well, yeah, but
desktop
it'll be easy to
applications.
use.
True, yeah.
Yeah, like if it actually is usable with touch, that's awesome.
Yeah,
You got anything else?
not specifically for Blue.
Okay. Better SkyDrive integrations coming, consolidating things like settings to modern UI. So basically, they're making it because right now, as a user of Windows 8, I find myself not actually using modern UI much at all.
No.
I find myself going back to the desktop where I know where things are and I know they're more easily accessible. But they're trying to get that all consolidated back away to modern UI so that you don't have to leave it anymore. Because if you want people to get used to something, It has to be a one-stop shop.
It has to be a one-stop shop. It has to be easy to get used to.
How do you get used to shopping at Walmart?
Everything's there.
You get in the habit. You go there and you're like, oh, where could I get that? Oh, I saw it at Walmart. Last time I was there buying my groceries, I saw that fishing tackle that I need. I didn't even realize Walmart had enormous stock of fishing supplies. I was there today.
They also have fish.
Okay, yes, they have fish too. So what you're saying, I guess, is don't bother catching a fish, just buy a fish?
Dude,
A lot of fishing enthusiasts out there.
It's kind of gross how often you can find dead fish in their fish department. Have you noticed that? Have you ever walked through it?
No, I
Yeah.
don't like fish, so I don't really shop for fish.
I wouldn't have
much.
it either, but like there's pictures online of like entire tanks full of just dead fish. And it's like, oh,
That's a sad thing.
that's no good.
So anyway, Windows Blue is coming if you guys want to check it out. Anyway, the user who submitted... Oh, I always lose track of which one I'm on. Oh, my goodness. The user who submitted this was Good Bytes on the forum. So thank you, Good Bytes, for submitting that. Wow, he has 628 posts. Top contributor. So there you go. And he actually has a great summary of all of the new...
That's cool.
All the new stuff that's coming. So they've redone the calculator app.
Oh yeah, IE11.
IE 11, there you
forgot
go.
about that.
Lots of cool stuff, and lots of it might change, but do check that out if you care. You know what? We should cover briefly. Windows 8 turned out to be a more powerful gaming platform than Windows 7. That's something a lot of the viewers might care about.
If you guys haven't seen yet, we are still releasing, and there are still going to be videos that we're developing later on that we haven't finished yet for testing and all this kind of stuff. 8350 versus 3570K is a huge conversation. We're trying to contribute as much as we can to it, and we will be continuing to contribute to that conversation. Videos that we've been releasing so far, we just did Windows 8 versus Windows 7. We have not released...
On both platforms.
Yes,
so
on both
four
platforms.
data sets.
We have not released the AA one yet.
No, just without anti-aliasing.
So we have without anti-aliasing up, and we're going to be releasing with anti-aliasing. One thing we found that was interesting is Windows 8 improves performance, mainly minimums, which are actually what you're going to notice most. So that's really, really good.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. It's just a matter of like, I mean, it comes into that conversation we were talking about with stuttering earlier.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuttering is not caused by the graphics card guys. It's caused by OS. It's caused by the game engine itself. A lot of that lag is not their fault. So if Microsoft is fine-tuning the OS to take better advantage of multi-core and to schedule better and make sure the GPU is getting the resources it needs, awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And like the difference between 60 and 55 FPS compared to the difference between like 20 and 15 is kind of ridiculous.
A big difference. So
you will really, really notice the difference between 20 and 15, and you will only a little bit notice the difference between 60 and 55.
And you'll notice a frame rate dip when you get to that car that explodes every time in that level.
Yeah.
Or when you get to that thing where all the guys rappel down from the ceiling and 3 guys bust into the doors.
And the glass smashes.
And the glass smashes. And that's where more like a smoother minimum FPS is more important than that average frames per second. So.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I mean, you had to fight with it a little bit to get the
Had
games
fight
to run
with
at all.
Had a lot of problems, actually. Had to make sure all my drivers were nice and updated, which I do anyways, but still. Had to install Games for Windows Live, which is confusing, because when you go to download it, it's like, oh, I already have this program. What? And then you download it anyways and install it, and it just installs like an advanced version of the program that you already have.
Games for Windows Live is the worst thing ever.
I hate it.
If anyone from Microsoft is watching,
Oh, that was my biggest problem with Batman. Trying to play Batman was hard because Windows Live just stops you. Anyways, it's like the worst DRM I've ever ran into.
yeah, and the fact that it exists on games that you bought on Steam is just
Like,
painful.
come
Like
on.
I don't mind Steam as DRM. I
Yeah.
love Steam.
So do I.
If Gabe's watching, we love you, man. You are awesome.
Come join us on the live stream.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
That would be amazing.
That'd be really
Can you
cool.
imagine if we could get Gabe Newell on the live
We
stream?
probably just wouldn't talk the
Even
whole
for
time.
even for 5 seconds.
Oh,
What
awesome.
what would you pay out of your own pocket for a 5-second cameo of Gabe Newell on the live stream? Because what do you
Stupid amounts.
Because what do you think his hourly salary is?
I'd give him my Battletoads.
Could we afford him for 5 seconds?
Probably not.
I'd pay half of it. I'd pay half of it.
We can barely afford to host our server for 5 seconds.
Well, the server's up right now.
That is.
Anyway, we love Gabe Newell. So we love the way DRM is implemented in Steam, but when you stack something else on top of it,
Like, come on.
come on.
Come
like
on.
like that stupid Crysis 2 thing, where my copy of Crysis 2 just because I'm a benchmarker. I change my hardware all the time.
So like, oh, you have this installed on tons of computers. Yeah. That's the point.
Because I changed my graphics card tons of times. So they just make my game stop working. It's like, come on, man. In EA's defense, I did talk to them on the live chat.
And they supported us.
And they actually were like, okay, well, we'll give you a whole whack load more activations. Don't worry about
crazy
it.
amount.
I explained who I was. I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to have to call you guys every 2 weeks to get you to reactivate my game. They're like, oh, okay.
So they dealt with it, which is cool.
So pretty much just to save work for themselves, they dealt with it.
But still, at least they dealt with it.
At least they dealt with it. Are you going to say the same thing about the SimCity fiasco? At least they dealt with it? Come on, I dare you. Say it. Say it.
No.
You can't say it, can you?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I think it's funny that they discounted stuff like Crysis really, really, really hardcore because people buying it is not a problem. People buying SimCity is a problem, so they're not discounting it at all. Anyways, we'll try and leave EA alone for the first time in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we've beat them up a lot lately. You know what? I was at my cousin's place today, and they were playing NHL like 2012 or something stupid. It's the same game. Like it's.
Well, okay. A lot of people bring that up. What are they supposed to do?
I don't know.
Honestly, it's
don't know.
hockey. We've been making hockey games since forever.
We've been making hockey games. You and me.
Humans have been making hockey.
Can you
games
believe
forever.
Aginla got traded? Oh, you don't follow hockey. I hate you. No, I love you, but
Stop having lockouts, and I'll freaking follow hockey.
No, you won't.
I will.
No, you won't.
I used to before the first lockout.
Okay, well, whatever. Do you know who Jerome Aginla is, at
Yes.
least? Okay, they traded him to Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yes. He's played his entire career in Calgary.
I know.
And he's traded to Pittsburgh.
That's actually like weird.
Oh, no, it's bizarre. Pittsburgh's been bulking up big time.
Oh, over the last couple of years.
They're going for the cup this year.
But what the hell is Calgary doing?
Oh, well, they give up. As far as I can tell. And guys, Calgary, you guys are my bros, but yeah, Flames suck.
What was that, guys? What was that?
Yeah, Flames suck. Boo Flames. Back to some. You know what? Okay, we're done the bulk of the. Holy crap! It's 10:30. Yeah, so let's do.
We're technically done the live stream.
Yeah, we're technically done the live stream, but we're gonna do the after party for a little bit. Actually, I have to upload some videos tonight, and I'm like tired, so I don't want to stay up too late. But yeah, I know I'm such a wuss. I'm sorry, you guys. But we have to do we want to do our last giveaway for a WD Mynet N900 dual band 7 gigabit Ethernet port, dual USB, fast track plus automatic network prioritization. Make sure your games don't lag. So, you know, when your sister's playing My Little Pony, your sister is playing My Little Pony games online, it doesn't slow down your League of Legends that you're actually playing.
We got to do build of the week as well.
Probably. Oh yeah, we have to. Yeah, we can do that in the after party. We'll do that first thing in the after party. Build of the week from the Linus Tech Tips Forum coming soon. Wow, record audience for the live stream. Thank you so much, you guys.
Everyone wants that router.
Yeah, everyone wants that route. No, everyone wants to look at your sexy mug. Yeah, you're looking particularly sexy right now.
Good news, everyone.
Yeah, good news, everyone. We have a router to give away. All right, so I've come up with a question that is not actually related directly to this fine piece of routing equipment, but actually is related to Western Digital's storage products. Now, one of the things that I advocate a lot, and I'm going to bring this full circle, so it's somewhat related to networking, is backups. Backup your freaking data. It's important. If you don't back up your data, whether you're running an SSD in your system, a hard drive in your system, no matter what you're running in your system, your storage can die. It happens. It's life. It just happens sometimes.
We've both worked like semi-tech support level positions.
Yes, we have.
Back up your data.
Yeah, back up your data.
Like, come on.
Please listen. It's not that expensive anymore. So network attached storage, I believe, is the most elegant way to back up your data. And there is a certain... Actually, okay, I'm probably giving too many hints at this point. So anyway, network attached storage is a really important way to back up your data. So you attach it to your network, whether it's through USB to your router, or whether it's in a dedicated network appliance, such as a NAS, network attached storage device. And what a network attached storage device can do compared to something that you plug in directly to your computer is it can back up all the computers on your network. A lot of them come with software applications where you can have it do it automatically. You can take snapshots so you can restore those systems. So if a hard drive physically dies or an SSD dies outright, you just pull it out, put in the new one that you got back from RMA, restore an image, and you're back up and running the same way where you were before you ended. If not, it's an expensive, thousands of dollars even, process to recover the data, if it can be recovered at all. So backing up your data is extremely important. You can use a router like this to run a network cable to a NAS, and your data can be safe. So I would like you guys to email me, linustechtips@gmail.com, with the subject. This time I'm going to, let's do the subject line thing. Subject line question 4, okay? Go ahead, fire that up. What is the optimal hard drive from Western Digital for use in a NAS, in a network-attached storage device, all right? So what drives are you going to buy to go with this router right here to make sure that your data is going to be safe? I'm going to give you guys some hints. Probably someone's answered it already anyway, but hints for this particular line of drives is that they have enterprise-grade features that prevent vibration from causing failures. They use enterprise-grade platters, although they run at a slightly lower speed. Can you not? He's giving away all the hints. I'm trying to give hints.
That's the best hint.
I know, but that's not the point.
They've got a limited amount of time. If they're still listening to your subpar hints, they're not going to win. They got to get my
So
hints.
you're just trying to. So you're trying to win favor with the viewers
100%.
by letting them win the contest,
Yeah.
as opposed to just being charismatic like me. And we're offline. And Twitch doesn't want us on their website anymore. And WD's never working with us again. And Intel's pretty displeased about that sponsorship deal that we are going to cut to a sponsor break. Da, 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 da. This video is brought to you by our trusted partner Intel. For a limited time only, with the purchase of any unlocked Core i5 or Core i7 Intel CPU, get a free Intel beanie with a chance to win an Intel snowboard. Valid for Canadian and US customers only. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, visit intelgamingpromo.com. All right, guys, so that's our last sponsored message for the night. It is now 10:31 my time, and it is officially the after party. So let's do our rig of the week.
Yeah.
Ah.
You've got, it's in the dock?
It's in the dock, right.
Yep,
That's
yeah.
exactly where it is. Not the dock menu. We don't use Apple here.
This machine has like 1 billion pictures. So we're going to have to like hope we...
Oh, crap, I hope I'm logged in.
Ones. Oh, yeah.
Guys, pictures
Yeah.
don't work on the Linus Tech Tips forum unless you're logged in, which is a way to have our server not hate itself when people flood a thread. Because as much good as it does us to cache things in RAM, it still will hate itself pretty hardcore if we do the wrong things. So why don't you explain what the rig of the week is while I figure out how to copy paste this link?
It is in...
No, explain like what this concept is.
What the concept is. Okay, so we have a section on our forum called Build Logs. That is for you to go and while you're building your system or after you've built your system or whatever, talk about the process of building your system. You're going to get on Build of the Week if you do awesome stuff like mods, if you make very nice, clean-looking builds, or if you just make awesome builds in general.
Something unique.
Something unique, something that stands out. But the idea of the Build Log section is to just show the process of you building your computer. Some things that people do, if it's subtle, people won't necessarily notice it, and if it's really awesome, you want to throw it out there. So jump on Build Logs, take pictures while you're building your computer, take pictures of awesome little components that you've hand done, or whatever. Just take pictures of the build process, talk about the build process. Everyone goes on there, tons of people comment, everyone's really supportive.
And you know what, the community's so friendly, even if your system isn't something, crazy and exceptional. You know what, you're still bound to be able to find someone who will talk to you about your rig and tell you anything you could do to optimize it.
Suggestions, optimization suggestions.
Look at that, 5,600 posts in the build log section.
That's
Oh, that's new builds and planning. Oh crap, wrong one. Sorry.
Up one.
Yep, I'm looking for build logs. Where is it?
Jump up one. You there.
Build logs. There it is. Okay, well I'm not showing it in the window there. Programming. There we go. I was trying to line it up with this stupid window here. That's why I'm having trouble. Okay. Build logs. Show off your rig. So 5,300 posts in there.
And name your build.
Yeah.
Makes the title way cooler. Name your build. Take some good pictures. Post the different processes. Post things that were hard. Post things that you did that you think are awesome.
Have fun with it. Treat your gaming PC like a PC, not a console.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you could mod your console, actually, I guess.
Yeah, that's doable. There's even water blocks for them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Alpha Cool.
Coolants was the first one, I think, to do
Alpha
an
Cool.
Xbox 360 block.
Yeah.
And I'm having a Google Docs challenge here where it's not going to let me copy paste that.
Here, 1 second.
I hate our forum sometimes.
Hey.
Actually, I love it. You know what? Slick has worked an unbelievable amount on. I've got it.
Cool.
Has worked an unbelievable amount on making this forum just a great place. And you know what? He can't do it alone because it takes a really cool community to make a forum any different from any other forum.
And Mr. Wizard's just a beast.
And actually, the whole mod team is
And the
exceptional.
whole mod team. Mr. Wizard is my admin, helper, friend, awesome person. If without him, forum wouldn't be up.
Wow, look at that part list.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love our forum staff. You guys are amazing, and it wouldn't run at all without you. Pics of the backplate, and oh my goodness, he called it an SLI bridge cover. Okay, -1 internets, but depending on how awesome this build is. Slick picked the rig of the week this week.
He said,
so.
and SLI bridge cover.
Yeah, but why would he have a Radeon logo there if he has an SLI bridge?
Here.
He doesn't. Why would he have an SLI
Go down. There.
So that's ROG.
So?
So he has Radeon graphics cards. Why would he have it?
He probably has an ROG board,
Uh-huh.
and he put an ROG cover on top of his SLI bridge.
What SLI bridge?
Does he not have another graphics card?
He has 3 graphics cards.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They run in Crossfire.
Oh.
Jeez, you're
I
fired.
thought you were trying to say it wasn't there.
You are so
I
fired.
thought you were trying to say it wasn't there.
You're so fired.
I thought you were trying to
Look
say
at
it
these
wasn't
sexy graphics cards. Wow.
That's beast.
That looks amazing. So water-cooled graphics cards always kind of get me excited.
That's
And
beast.
I love these short connections that people have started putting in them in the last sort of few years here, where people are like basically hard piping them.
Yeah.
Looks amazing compared to, I mean, I used to do these tiny little gaps with tubing. Let me tell you, that is not a lot of fun. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. I hope I've actually switched
Oh, I'm so sad
so
now.
that the live stream is looking
So I
at
thought
me
you
so
just
good.
didn't see it.
No, you're just hardcore now.
So sad now.
So he called it an SLI bridge. Anyway, it looks really good. His Crossfire bridge looks really good.
Looks great.
There we go.
Those fans look really nice.
Corsair SP fans look so good. Nice
Those
anti-vibration
runs are
on
nice.
them.
Oh,
Look at that hard pipe on the here. Check this out. So the guy's hard piped most of it. You know what? I like this because even though it's in the middle of what would otherwise be a long run, what he's done is he's gone for a visual look where he doesn't want any tubing that's longer than a couple inches or about 5 centimeters in length, and he wants like these compression fittings to break up that look of that tubing, giving it a very industrial feel to it.
That's
and
awesome.
it works really well. It looks really good.
Yeah.
So he's got his RAM water-cooled, his CPU water-cooled. He doesn't have his motherboard water-cooled in spite of the fact that it's a Maximus 5 from the look of it. Is that a Maximus 5?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. That's an odd one because that motherboard has built-in water cooling, but what he probably did is he probably left it out because it doesn't actually benefit the performance of the system in any meaningful way.
No.
And it would have broken his aesthetic a little bit because you can't replace the fittings on the Maximus 5 with custom ones.
That's such a beast case.
Oh my goodness. And don't worry, guys, you don't have to have the most extreme rig in the world. Oh, but this guy does. To be featured on Build Log of the Week. But if you do something sort of really, really cool and unique, then we'd love to check it out. And even if we don't feature it on the live stream, of course, there's... oh, wow.
I believe that's a Case Labs M8. Pretty sure.
Pretty cool case, mate. Ah! Look at those blocks.
That's so
I haven't
good
seen
looking.
these XSPC blocks. These must
No?
be relatively new. Either that or what he's done. Has he put... No, yeah, okay. These must be fairly new.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lots of great pictures of this. Look at those graphics cards. Holy smokes. That looks good. And that badge on the back goes really well. I mean, you know, it's one thing if people are like, yeah, I'm going to put branding all over my system. Yay. I don't really necessarily go for that. But when it's done tastefully, then it can
It's
look...
very nice.
Yeah, it can look really sharp. Amazing looking rig and just an absolute inspiration to guys who want to feel proud of their gaming rig and don't really know where to start. I mean, I love it when people do build logs showing the process because it makes it so, you know, the real people can aspire to do something like that. They can see the actual process.
Yeah, it's awesome. Apparently those are called Crystal Link.
Okay. I mean, that's what the internet's all about, is sharing the process rather than, you know, proprietary knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think build logs are just so much a part of that. So guys, we love it when you post in the news section as well as the build log section of the Linus Tech Tips forum. And if you haven't signed up for the forum already, you've got 2 more days to sign up and post for the 3960X giveaway.
Yeah.
That ends on the 31st.
And that's a big giveaway.
Yeah, so we have 2 3960X Extreme Editions
And the motherboards.
and 2 Gigabyte X79 motherboards to give away to 2 lucky winners.
Yeah, that's a big giveaway.
Big giveaway. You're welcome.
Another thing.
Not that I paid for them, but I collaborated with Intel to bring that giveaway.
We made
to
it
you.
happen, though.
That's true. There was some confusion about the giveaway because a lady at the Intel booth told Logan from Tech Syndicate
I heard about
that
this.
we had 5 CPUs to give away, and I want to clarify that. We had 5 CPUs that we advised Intel what to do with.
We didn't actually get 5 CPUs.
We didn't get 5, we got 2. So there you go. 3 of them went to, we kind of said, hey, here's some other guys that you might want to allocate them to, and they can run their own things with them.
Yeah.
So we don't take no responsibility for what happened to those.
We have 2.
We have 2. Well, we have 2 for this contest.
That we're giving away.
Yeah, we have lots of extreme editions.
They don't have, yeah.
Yeah.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
Diesel's Workstation has an extreme edition. We did a tour of Diesel's Workstation in the video where we announced the contest. So he's got like 32 gigs of RAM.
Oh, it's just beast.
Extreme edition, Quadro 4000.
4K, yeah.
Just like ridiculous computer. He has a better computer than me, so whatever, man. I think he actually does. I think his video card's worth significantly more than mine.
Yeah.
He has more RAM than me. Yeah.
That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, screw that guy.
And it just
I hope
crushes
he's not
mine.
watching. We love you, Diesel.
Screw that guy? That's mean. That's not very nice.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to take that any further.
Oh! Whoa, okay, continue.
My Android experience so far.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to be filming, hopefully this weekend, day 5 or 6 or whatever it is, of my Android I switched blog. So I was an iOS user for a few years, and I have used Android in the past. So to be clear,
Yep.
when I said never Android, I meant never Android as long as it's the way it was when I used it.
Yeah.
So I used Android back in the gingerbread era.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've used Android Ice Cream Sandwich on tablets,
Which is not the same experience.
which is not the same experience, and I still prefer my iPad to an Android tablet. And I have nice Android tablets. It's not about, like, oh, you're using a crappy Android tablet. Nope. I have all the Android tablets. Don't like them. I mean,
all the Android
well, I don't have all of them,
tablets.
but I do have a TF700 from Asus, which is
Yep.
one of the nicer Android tablets
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
Tegra 3. So anyway, HTC, I wanted to try Windows Phone 8. That was how this whole thing got started. So HTC sent me a Windows Phone 8, HTC 8X phone to try out, and I went, okay, in exchange for you guys sending me this phone, what I'll do is I'll blog my experience trying it for 30 days. I will commit to take my SIM out of my iPhone and not use it for 30 days. So I used the 8X for 30 days, ended up going back to iOS. There were some complaints. You guys can check it out. If you YouTube search I switched with a little I big S switched to Windows Phone, all the blogs are there, and it covers sort of some of the things that I felt like were problems, turned out not being problems, some of the things that I thought were problems that were problems. I'm trying to document not what the most phone-savvy guy thinks about this phone, but what someone who actually hasn't touched a Windows Phone ever might experience trying to switch to this platform. So now I'm doing the same thing with Android, except I do have a little bit more Android experience, and quite frankly, Android is a lot more intuitive for an iOS user. Not that I'm going to say that Google ripped off any of iOS's UI implementations.
Actually, iOS ripped off more of Android than...
These days, yes. I mean, early on, it might have been the other way around.
Yep.
But the point is, as someone who's used iOS a great deal, using Android is pretty darn intuitive, I can say that much. I'm really enjoying the customizability of Android in a big way. Like I had, you know what? I think this probably summarizes my experience best so far. I had an issue with HTC Sense 5.0 where pulling down from the top menu didn't have quick toggles for things like auto rotate. I had to go deep within the settings to enable and disable that. And it didn't have quick toggles for Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff. And I went, oh, okay, how do I fix this? Okay, there's some app with 500,000 downloads. that I can install and it'll do that. So great, I can customize Android. And then sort of summary point number 2 is not all the toggles work on my phone.
That happens.
And that is the advantage and disadvantage of Android in a nutshell.
Basically, yeah, that's actually pretty okay.
But the point is also that Android makes up for it in sheer breadth.
If you rooted your phone, would those work? Do you know what the problem is?
I don't know what the problem is. I have no idea. But what I suspect is that if I found some other switching app, of which there are many,
Yep.
I could find one that'll work with my phone. This is also pre-release hardware running pre-release software.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to run out and blame Android, and I'm not going to run out and blame the app dev yet.
Yeah, another thing is there's often a lot of ways to fix it. Sometimes there isn't,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
So my wife's phone, the Droid DNA, I couldn't get cellular data working here in Canada. Bell wanted some kind of stupid fee to help us.
Isn't that
with it.
because it was from somewhere else?
It's
or
a
something?
Verizon-specific phone, but I'm not convinced there's because it worked for calls. So I think it was just a setting, and Bell was just sort of yanking me around. But they wanted a fee in order to unlock that phone to use on their network. But what ended up happening was all I had to do was root the phone, install a custom ROM, which was about a 6-hour process because the Droid DNA is not simple to root. And like the antenna sort of chipset upgrade, root option, if you haven't used the over-the-air update, blah, 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 all these things came out the day that I was rooting it and putting my custom ROM on it. So I was like, yeah! Before that, there was nothing.
Things
And if you applied the over-the-air update, there's nothing you could do last time I checked, which was about a week ago. But I rooted it, and now it works 100%. Except MMS messages still don't work, but that's probably just a matter of dinking around with it.
Yeah.
But there's probably a way to make it work. That's what I like about Android. I never did jailbreak my iPhone. So
Right.
I should be careful to condemn, because if I'm going to run around and say, oh, well, Android is customizable because I can root the phone, you know what? iOS can be customizable if you jailbreak the device as well.
Yep.
So, okay, let's talk about whatever you wanted to talk about. I think you had a thing. Should we show them our awesome video if they haven't seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, let's show them our awesome video that not everyone has necessarily seen. You know what? We can talk about the Tech Quickie channel in general. So my main channel is Linus Tech Tips on YouTube, but I have a couple of other channels. Linus Cat Tips is just stupid videos of my cats. You know what?
Including the most recent one.
Yeah, where he's just licking his
so
butt.
troll.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
The title of the video is just lol. You know what? Probably one of the funniest comments I've ever seen on one of my YouTube videos, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of comments. Some guy posted on the video, it's a 7-second clip of my cat licking his bum, and the guy's like, you have no idea how difficult this was to explain to my mom.
That's awesome.
Why are you watching a video on the internet of a cat licking its butthole? And he's like, yeah, I got nothing here. I got nothing.
That's awesome.
Absolutely nothing. So anyway, my last channel is Tech Quickie. So we're going to head over there right now. And Tech Quickie is meant, so Linus Tech Tips, we do reviews, we do unboxings. It's more like editorial style where we give a lot more opinion. Whereas Tech Quickie is intended more for like videos that we produce for companies, because there's honestly not that many guys out there who are IT tech video guys.
Nope.
I mean, there's Elric, there's Paul, there's Tiny Tom Logan, there's Logan, the other Logan from Tech Syndicate. There's, oh crap, what's that British? Troubadour. Troubadour.
Troubadour, yeah.
I apologize for anyone I'm missing, but those are most of the major guys. And of course, tastypc.tv. But there's not that many guys who are into the tech of motherboards or like gaming mice enough to really make a video that is going to address the good things about the product in a meaningful way. So Tech Quickie is meant as a channel where we can do that for manufacturers without destroying the credibility of our real channel, which is Linus Tech Tips.
Because this is like
Sponsored content.
Yes.
Like SteelSeries asked us to make this.
Linus
for
Tech
them.
Tips will have sponsored pre-rolls, and
Yeah.
then what's in the video has nothing to do with that at all.
That's our content. This is someone else's content, and I'm the host, pretty much.
Yeah.
But we did one that we were really, really proud of, and we're going to have you guys watch.
Oh, no way!
We want as many people to watch this as possible. So this is not actually the final version of the video we created for the Corsair Vengeance 2000 headset. This one was not approved by Corsair, but we released it anyway because we really like it. So
Yeah.
we're going to go ahead and play this for you. It's only about a minute and a half long.
Corsair added Dolby headphone surround sound to the Vengeance 2000. It's time for some gaming. So tired. These headphones are so light and comfortable. Just could almost... Oh, I was asleep for so long. Even the 10-hour battery's dead. It's okay though. I'll just plug it in. Keep going. Maybe you think you don't need accurate positional audio, but how else will you know where threats are coming from?
Hot potato!
You won't. Thanks for checking out this Tech Quickie. On the Vengeance 2000, I'll see you guys again next time.
It's awesome because we actually had at least 1 or 2 people comment.
Welcome
Where
to
does the
Tech
pin
Quickie.
for the
Today's
grenade go?
episode is all about
a
the
sec.
Samsung...
Go away, go away. So where's the pin for the grenade go? Because I just pull the pin out with my mouth and then it's just... Do I eat it? and why did Slick throw a grenade at me that still had the pin in it? It's like the world's most handicapped soldier.
You can't remove the pin from that grenade. It's not actually possible.
Yeah, it's not actually a grenade. It's actually MSI swag that has a little pull cord on it, and then you let it go and it so it's like a vibrator grenade. Oh wow. Okay, we're not going to make YouTube videos anymore. We are going to manufacture vibrating grenades. And what people do with them is not actually our problem. Anyway, we had a lot of fun making that video.
Man.
I mean, okay, we sort of had fun. How many times did you climb up onto that fence?
My
in the rain?
legs legitimately were like in pain. Going up and down stairs after that video was actually like, you saw me.
Oh, I saw you.
That hurt.
I didn't want to look. It was sort of painful to watch,
It
actually.
was,
I mean, it's a 6-foot fence.
and then with a little bit of a drop after
Yeah,
it.
with a little bit of a drop, and you had to like kind of jump forward, and you
Yeah.
had to hold this sword, which is like it's not a play sword. It's sharp.
And it was in the rain, so
And
I'm like
yeah.
half slipping most of the time. So even balancing up there was difficult.
I fell off that fence the other day.
It's slippery.
No, this was in like sunlight. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yvonne wanted some branches from one of the trees up there for her sister's wedding, and apparently I have to go up there and cut them off. So I legit fell off the ladder, and then landed with my hands on the fence. And so you know how those hedges are there, right? So I had the
Yeah.
ladder leaning up like this, and I fell off the ladder. So I'm horizontal by the time my hands hit the fence. If I hadn't hit the fence, I would have hit the ground
Yikes.
from like 6-8 feet up.
and like that's
That would have been painful.
kind of a big deal.
Anyway, but anyway, Slick had to climb. How many times did you climb up?
Quite a few.
I think it was
actually.
at least 10.
Yeah, and the day before I had played like 3 hours of laser tag where I was sprinting the entire time, even though they're like, no running.
Yeah, whatever.
No one walks in laser tag.
Who walks in laser tag? Anyone
No
who walks
one.
in laser tag, you can just tune out of the live stream now.
And you just lost. So
Yeah, you just lost hardcore.
good job. Anyways,
That said, anyone who takes laser tag seriously is kind of...
that's another problem. It's designed for kids, and I'm so big that hiding behind the walls was actually like a problem.
Did you manage to put the vest on?
Yeah, but it was like here.
Yeah.
But I had
It's
to hide
like a
behind the wall.
midriff showing like vest.
I had to hide behind the wall, so I'm like, instead of just like crouching behind a wall, I have to like sit and slouch behind the wall. So I'm like blocking the entire walkway. It's horrible.
Whatever. Real men play paintball, so there
I
you
played
go.
paintball. It was like $10
You know what
for like 3 hours.
You know what drives me crazy? Guys who like armor up to play paintball.
Oh,
Okay,
whatever.
So you have to wear a mask.
Yep.
Wear a mask.
Wear a freaking
Wear
mask.
gloves.
Yeah.
Wear gloves. Important. You know what? Even wear a jock. Because
Yeah, that could hurt.
I've heard stories that are just not good.
Yeah.
But like guys who like wear armor.
That's kind of nuts.
Okay, so two reasons people wear armor. Number one is they fear the pain. And I'm just like, come on. I always played t-shirt and shorts. Always. Because real men play paintball with t-shirt and shorts. And the other reason people wear armor is to make the balls, like they'll wear armor with padding so that the balls are less likely to break.
Oh, that's
And I'm just like, come on. The idea of a gun with a bullet is that the guy on the other end got hit.
Yeah, that's lame.
That's lame. People do it all the time, and it
That's
drives me
really
crazy.
lame. I wear, see, I didn't play nearly as much as you did. I would just play with like sports teams and stuff that would have an event that brought us to a paintball field. That's all I really, and like bachelor parties or whatever. Like that's when I played paintball.
I've never been invited to a bachelor party. I actually have no friends. When you get married, will you invite me to your bachelor party?
Yes.
Okay. Is that putting you in an awkward position because
Yes.
I'm your boss?
Yep. I'll do it anyways. Yes. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so I would wear the like overalls that they give you because I didn't have clothes that would be like I play paintball in these clothes.
Oh yeah, no,
And,
I
like,
did though. So.
Yeah, so like that's why. But I wouldn't wear armor. I would just wear the overalls that they gave me.
Yeah, because it's just like and like guys will wear like 3 sweaters under the overalls, so same thing for the padding, and I'm just like,
I just wear a t-shirt and usually actually a t-shirt and shorts because I didn't want to get too hot in the overalls.
it's not violating the letter of the law, but it's violating the spirit of the law,
Yeah.
which is that if you hit the guy, he should die.
Yeah.
In theory.
And like you should feel it. That was my whole thing. Is like I want to play paintball, and if I get hit, I want it to go like kunk.
I want the
like,
I want the
okay,
rush.
I'm out. Yeah, exactly.
The actual fear of actually getting hit by
I
something.
want to really not want to get hit, so that
It's more fun that way.
exactly.
It's
Because then you're
actually more
way
fun.
more tactical and you care way more.
Yes. And it's like that much more awesome when you like suicide run someone.
100%. Because you're like, oh my god.
I actually had it work once. We cleared a bunker. There were probably about 7 guys inside. And I just like slid in and managed to take out about 4 of them before it was over.
That's actually pretty.
And
awesome.
in the commotion, 3 more of my guys were able to come in and take the bunker.
Nice.
And it was like a flag bunker and blah, blah, blah. We ended up winning the match. So I was like, I got plastered. Like, not drunk plastered, but paint
But like
plastered.
you're basically a part of the floor.
I
at this
got
point.
destroyed. But it was so worth
But
it.
it's
It was
so
so
worth it,
awesome.
yeah.
And it's like the battle scar is worth so much more if there was like a battle.
Yeah. But
And
see,
you have a scar.
Linus played at a way ridiculously higher level than I played.
Well, I still played casual. I never played competitive.
Right, yeah, but it's still like
What?
you owned your own gun.
Okay.
I would
yes.
go like once every year or 2 maybe.
Right, okay.
And still it's kind of at that level. My best story is my brother and I were playing at a bachelor party and he could kind of get out and shoot people but was in a fairly vulnerable position. I was kind of too far away to shoot people but could see better. So I would shout targets to him and he'd lean around the corner and pick them out and then lean back. And that was cool.
That's legit awesome.
When you've
though.
got someone that you can teamwork with that well, because you like know each other really well and you're in really good situations, it's just really cool. So that was my best.
I have no friends, so I always went to the field by myself. But
Man, this is like the
Sometimes-
most forever alone live stream ever.
sometimes I'd run into people who are like, also forever alone. So we'd team up,
Oh, okay.
and every once in a while, someone else who knew what they were doing would show up without a big group. So we'd tandem hunt, and it was just a ton of fun.
Yeah,
It's a ton of fun.
It's really cool to be able to like collaborate and team up with people.
So let's talk about Red Bull. Why do we get so upset that electronics cost so much?
Okay, I think stuff like RAM. There's a few. I see this on the forum a lot. RAM prices are going up.
Yeah. So what? Do you know how much money they lost last year?
Everyone making RAM's losing money.
Yeah.
And like RAM is cheap. Stuff like a whole system. If you're buying a laptop and you're complaining that it's expensive, I understand because it's a big investment. Red Bull you don't really care about because it's $3 or $2 or
But
whatever.
the problem is that whole system actually top of the supply chain to the bottom of the supply chain if you buy a commodity level system, like a $500 desktop, there was maybe, including software, like $100. Even that's probably optimistic.
That's pretty optimistic.
There was maybe like $75
Like
of
they
actual
don't make
profit,
a lot of money.
and that includes the actual factory that built the stupid thing, the engineering company that designed it. Sometimes they're separate, sometimes they're the same. So someone like Dell doesn't necessarily have a motherboard factory. They're going to outsource to Foxconn or whoever else, but they design their own boards. So they actually have engineering staff. Okay? So there's the designer, the manufacturer, the retailer that you bought your Alienware laptop at. They're taking a cut. And there's probably a distribution middleman somewhere in there. There's couriers that are carting the parts and the finished thing around. There was maybe $75 of profit in the entire enterprise on like a $500 commodity notebook or desktop.
It's pretty brutal.
And this is from someone who actually was in there and actually knows there is not a lot of money in it. So while, I mean, I like working at NCIX for so many years, I'd see a lot of people making remarks like, oh, NCIX is so baller, they charge $700 for a video card. Yeah, I charged $700 for, you know how much profit there was in it? Not a lot.
$5?
Let me tell you, double digits, and not deep into them.
And this isn't just...
And it's not just BS, it's the truth.
It's the truth, and it's not just like computer parts. Consoles are the same kind of thing.
Yep.
A lot of retailers are taking, even if it's like 5 or 10 cents, they're taking a loss when they sell you a console.
For the sake of having a hope
That
of
you're going to
selling
buy
you,
some
like,
other stuff.
you know, a silicone, you know, condom for your Wiimote,
Or another controller
or
where
a
they'll
game.
make $2 or
Yeah.
something. Like,
Like, he worked at Best Buy, so he has some idea how much money they actually make on stuff. If you didn't sell service plans, how much money was Best Buy making?
usually pretty much nothing, to be completely honest. There was like, I remember most laptops were about $4 or $5 margin.
Okay,
so we were making $4 or $5.
Question number 2, how much do you think, I mean, of course, there's vendor kickbacks on things
there's
like notebooks.
vendor kickbacks if you buy a certain amount, so they're
Yeah.
making money that way.
They're making some money that way, but it's not that much. And how much do you think it costs to build a Best Buy?
So much. And you can't even just, this is a phone call.
And how much do you think it costs to staff a Best Buy? I mean, their business model's dead, and I don't feel bad for them.
Nope.
But it doesn't change the fact that when...
They have to build a building, they have to staff the building, they have to build warehouses, they have to have distribution channels of their own to go in between their own warehouses and their stores. They have to...
So you hear customers complaining. So why do we tolerate paying $60 for pants at Lululemon? How much do you think those actually cost? Compared to, like at least PC parts have actual freaking gold in them. Like, there was actually something inside there that cost money. I mean, here, back to Western Digital, who sponsored our router giveaway tonight. How much do you think it cost them in engineering to design the next hard drive? How many millions upon millions of dollars do you think they spend on engineering, on technology that they build because maybe they will be able to use it 10 years from now? Like, the amount of investment that actually goes into this. Whereas, like, if you're Coca-Cola, your biggest investment is like designing a new bottle. Or no, who was it who did the new bottle recently? Was it Pepsi? Pepsi. Pepsi did a new bottle. It's like...
And everyone freaks out and thinks it's amazing.
Everyone freaks out and thinks, yeah, I mean, no matter how much Pepsi spent on that bottle, it's not as much as Intel spent on developing the upcoming Haswell CPUs. Let me tell you that much. And I can tell you right now, Pepsi makes more for every bottle of Pepsi you buy, percentage-wise, than Intel makes on a CPU.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. And like, I just got a message. Apparently, Best Buy sold 6 stores. I don't know. They got rid of 6 stores, closed 6 stores.
Again, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just in BC or just in Canada. That was the last one, not again.
Oh, okay.
That was the last one.
And if you guys don't believe me about this, the proof is there. These are publicly traded companies. They're not allowed to lie and say we lost money if actually they made a butt ton of money, because then they'd lose all the money. Like. So, sorry, go ahead.
Like massive household names, if you're a techie, companies are losing money every year.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
AMD.
AMD,
Yeah.
Micron.
I mean, AMD, like, I want AMD to pull through. I think.
do not want them to die. That would be bad. No. And like Intel fanboys that are like, ah, AMD sucks, blah. You do not want AMD to die.
Yeah.
Come on, like you need competition.
It is good for the industry to have as many companies innovating. I mean, to an extent. I've had this conversation
you don't want
before
10
where
billion different companies.
you
but
don't
like,
need like 100 different guys making, you know, a gaming keyboard.
Yeah.
But, you know, 20 is nice.
It's good for competition
Yeah.
if you have a certain amount.
More than one is nice.
Yeah.
And just having innovation. Having innovation is good. I mean, yeah, there. As consumers, why do we tolerate this? My pants cost $16 at Costco. Why should I pay more than $16 for a pair of blue jeans? Why does that exist? Why do we allow this to happen? Why do we tolerate? I mean, you can go, oh, it's only $4 or $3 or whatever for the can of Red Bull.
But I'm saying that's not like, I'm just saying that's how people view it.
I know, but
when they
why
go to the
do we-
store, it's easy
why
to
do
drop
they
down
allow
$4.
it?
Because we buy it. That's the thing. Like,
They make sugar water with taurine in it, and they sponsor an F1 team. All you need to know about a company should be how much money they have to blow on random stupid stuff.
but this is the same problem where it's nothing will change until the consumer decides it
Right.
needs to change, and they're not going to decide it needs to change. We're not going to decide it because if someone's tired and they want to be still awake, even if it doesn't work for them, they're going to go buy an energy drink. If they're going to go buy an energy drink, they're very possibly going to buy Red Bull.
So anyway, I guess that's the thing. I don't want to hear people I mean, look at LCDs. LCD monitors have gone from being, a $600, $700 item to being, you can get a nice IPS monitor for $165 now.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
a really nice monitor.
It's an LG.
Yeah.
LG IPS 23-inch 1080p monitor. How much money do you imagine there is in that for LG to make?
It must not be making much.
Not a lot.
Because that's honestly like a high-tech, nice monitor.
So anyway, that's my lecture for you guys to close out the live stream, unless you guys have any other topics, is stop putting up with this BS. I mean, you know what? As a consumer, you have the right to, get the best deal that you can, but why are we complaining about the wrong things? Why are we complaining about companies that invest in the future of their products versus why aren't we complaining about, you know what, there's a million examples. Shoes. Why aren't we complaining
Yeah.
about running shoes?
Oh my goodness.
Why do we pay $100 for running shoes? What's the actual BOM cost on a running shoe? What did it cost them to design that?
In their factory in China.
In their factory in China. I mean, you could go say, oh, well, the tech industry outsources everything to... Yeah, everyone outsources everything to China. If there was an economical way to manufacture Red Bull in China, they would do it. In fact, they probably do.
They probably do. Google Glass is being manufactured in the States.
That's interesting. That's actually kind of awesome. So Google, but again, I mean, it's Google. They ball so hard, I guess they just don't even care.
Don't even
if
care.
It costs more to make
I
it,
wonder
but-
where they produce the Chromebooks.
Got to be China. There's no notebook manufacturing facility in North America. I can tell you
That's a
that
good
much.
point. Yeah, because you need the circuit.
It's going to be like Honhei or Asus or someone like
Yeah.
that who's actually building it for them. I mean, look at the Nexus 7, built by Asus. It's got Asus right on the branding of it. So, yeah, it should be no
Good point.
surprise
Yep.
that someone like that is building it. But yeah, let's be resentful of the correct things. I was at Michael's craft store,
Oh my goodness.
and they had yeah, it's just criminal, hey.
It's brutal.
They had some modeling clay, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll get one for I don't know, someone who likes to model things with modeling clay. And I looked at it, and it was like $5 for a packet that was like this and like skinny, and I was like, okay. So you actually have to spend like $100 on this to get all the different colors, so you can actually make something, and then they're all going to blend together and be brown at the end of it. So this is like not reusable in any way. It's a total waste of money, and the actual cost of this thing is pennies. Why do I put up with this? Why do I tolerate this? Why would I buy this?
When I was doing my fish tank, I had to buy, at the beginning, I don't think you ever saw it in this stage, but at the beginning, you know how I had the plant?
Yeah.
I also had a complete layer of...
So you had an oil-cooled machine, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, there's a
Computer.
video on it on the
Yeah.
Linus Tech Tips channel.
Slick's oil-cooled PC, or oil-cooled rig. You can search for that on YouTube.
Yeah. At the beginning, I also had a pretty thick layer of blue fish rocks. Did you see this? I don't think it was
Nope,
in
I
the
don't think
video.
I ever saw the fish rocks.
Okay, so those became a problem whenever I had to like work on anything because how I had everything strapped to that plexiglass mount on the back,
Yeah.
the power supply hung. So when I'm putting it in, the power supply would sit on top of the rocks.
So you would say your computer was hung?
And if I tried to move the rocks out of the way, they would just sift back in the oil. So every single time I tried and put it in, the power supply would sit too high and push my RAM up.
Oh.
So it was really hard. And that's a plexiglass shield on the top. So I can't just like reach my hand in while I'm putting it down because I have to move my hand out of the way to put it in.
Right.
So it became really difficult to deal with. And like I could get it done, but honestly, to just put my computer back inside the fish tank would take like an hour or an hour and a half. So eventually I took them out, but I had a layer of blue fish rocks at the bottom at one point in time, and it looked really good. But the bag that I bought for it was like $25.
Yeah, that sort of kills
I'm
me.
like, these are blue rocks. Come on.
This is why I love sites like DHgate, Monoprice, where they're just like, nope, we're actually gonna sort of charge for things what we actually like paid for them, or at least some sort of proportion. Costco's the same way. Did you know that Costco actually? I'm a huge Costco advocate. I love Costco.
Costco's awesome. They pay their employees well,
Yep,
and stuff is cheap.
They pay their employees well. They don't waste money on dumb stuff.
Nope.
You go into a Costco and look for the waste. You won't find any.
No.
Anyway, so Costco has a maximum margin per category that they will charge.
Whoa.
That is why Costco can't get approved for certain product lines, because the manufacturer doesn't want them to degrade the pricing in the market.
I knew they couldn't sell certain stuff, but I never knew that. That's really
That's
interesting.
why. Costco, actually, there was a big public spat with Apple.
Yeah, because
That's why Costco couldn't carry iPods, because they refused to sell at MSRP. They said, no, our maximum markup for that category is this, and that's what we're going to sell it at. If you want access to our enormous customer base.
Oh, massive.
I mean, Costco's one of the few companies that actually gave the old to Apple, so.
That's awesome. They're great.
I love
Costco. They're great. All my grocery shopping, if I can swing it, goes there.
Those of you not in North America, I wish you guys
Are they
had
only
Costco.
They're only in North America?
I believe they're North America.
I
could be
have
wrong.
no idea.
I could actually be wrong about that. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you have anything else?
Other than Battletoads.
Oh yeah, let's do Battletoads.
So I was out with Mr. Wizard and some friends of ours, and we were going around the Vancouver area to...
Why do you have to rub in your friends all the time? And how you have them?
That's awkward. So we were going around the Vancouver area to game shops that carried old school games, because I like collecting and playing old school games. If I'm not playing on a computer, I'm playing old consoles.
Can I be your Vanna White?
You can.
Okay.
I think this is the first time that you've Vanna Whited. Are you good? You have to... Come on. There you go. So we're going around to old school game shops, and we found Battletoads. This is not the like super insanely iconic NES Battletoads. This is SNES Battletoads. So you can actually beat this one. But it's like still new in box. Be careful with the box, please.
It's new in box?
It's not new in box.
Like
but
new in box.
It's like new in box.
No, this is the one that was already creased. I checked.
Okay.
I am a professional unboxer.
I thought you just creased that.
Nope.
Okay.
Professional unboxer
It's
here.
like new in box. It still has the dust cover on the bottom. It has the original poster, which has never been unfolded.
Okay, I won't unfold the poster.
I did that.
There's the manual.
There's the manual. That's the poster. Like, it's in really, really good condition, so I couldn't pass it up. And it's probably one of my favorite things in my old school gaming collection now. Other than Descent 2. Descent 2 will never be dethroned.
Okay.
Because that has like awesome sentimental value. I've never actually played SNES Battletoads before.
One of the few sort of gaming, because I'm not much of a, I mean, you've seen my house. Do I have much sentimental stuff in there?
No.
No. I actually have a bin in my attic.
Yeah, I know about that.
That
But
has-
that's like hidden away in your attic.
Yes. All of my sentimental crap is in there. It's like one Rubbermaid bin. That's it. The only gaming related thing I think I have in there is the manual for my copy of Final Fantasy III.
Right.
And it is so dog-eared. So it has 0 resale value. The cover is gone. So it's just like the page 2 to page 2nd to last. And the only reason I kept it is because that was my favorite game growing up. And I have actually legitimately read the manual so many times, you know, when I wasn't allowed to have video game time or whatever else, that's why it's dog-eared like that.
I remember doing that. Reading like a manual, reading through key bindings that you've memorized for years, just because you can't play a game.
It's like reading through all the spells. And like the thing about a Final Fantasy manual is it's never going to have all the information in it anyway. So like they had like a spell in the manual that was just question marks, and I'm like, so I have to find this spell, and it doesn't say what like question marks for what it does, and they'd have relics for like question marks for what they do. And I'm just like, okay.
Oh man.
But like I'd read through and I'd be like, how many times more powerful is Fire 3 than Fire 2?
My favorite piece of like not an actual game sentimental stuff is my game guide to Morrowind, the like textbook that they give you so that you can play Morrowind. Because I've said the story before about how I never even started the main quest and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But my dad and I would play, and I read through this manual so much that like all the corners and everything are like hardcore bent up.
Nice.
The cover is completely ripped off. Like all the pages are like slightly like you can see if I was like, oh, we were doing that quest and I was eating Cheetos. Or like
Love that Cheetos. All about the Cheetos.
I actually kind of hate Cheetos. Not to offend anyone, but like that's what I meant. Like it is used. It is like the most used thing that I probably even own. And I bought a new one eventually because the expansions came out and stuff, but I still have my original one.
So if anyone knows anyone at Bethesda, that is how devoted the person who did not get a single beta invite.
So depressed.
I'm sorry for bringing this up. I shouldn't have even done it.
Oh no. Okay, so they sent out the thing saying like, "Hey, we're doing our first wave of beta invites," and I spent that entire day with my phone. Like I had the screen on pretty much the entire day, which is insane because the battery life on this phone is dead now. And I had it like plugged into USB chargers so that if my phone got the email first, then I would know faster than if my computer got it first. And I had my browser open in Opera because Opera has an auto refreshing feature on Gmail, being like, "Come on, I want my beta code." And I did not get in the Elder Scrolls Online beta, and I am pretty much the saddest panda that ever existed. Oh.
So on that sobering note, good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Linus Tech Tips live stream. We do these every Friday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time, so that's Vancouver time. So I have a lot of people ask me what time is that in my time zone. Holy crap, go find a world clock.
Because daylight saving times and stuff.
We don't know, okay? 2100 hours, Vancouver, BC time. For that matter, Vancouver, Washington time is fine too. No, wait. Yes, Vancouver,
Same,
Washington time is fine too. Washington State, not Washington, D.C. There's no suburb of Washington, D.C. called Vancouver. I don't think. I think Vancouver landed on the West Coast, so anything named after him should theoretically be here.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Or good morning. Good
Follow us on
afternoon.
Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Especially me and Slick. Wait, that's both of us.